trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. I hope you guys enjoyed Mr. Wonderful on with Brendo. But that is your girl Adair there in the green, and I'm Sharif. And we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream a little bit late today, as we obviously had that guest. But we got big Kyle Burdett gracing us with his presence in the chat. We also have Chase Bands and the OG Darwin there as well. Shout out to Mr. Longshorts and Vin. Market Sniper says he's liked the video. Have you? Salim, what's up, Salim? I saw all the comments you were dropping there in the chat. Thank you for all your comments, Salim. I saw all of them. Andrew, we got Pedro Khan. We got the 420 Bud Monster, and my favorite Arsenal fan of all, Big Adam DeLuce. We got Cesar Sandoval. We got Scott H. Day Trader Cut there as well. A proper paradox joining Adara and I today. Solo Crystal, congratulations to you. Why are you saying congratulations to me, man? I didn't do anything today. Elon, what's up with you? West Coast Hayes, Soul Queen 88, and Ari Pages. Ari, I saw your idea about the 10% flat tax. I haven't studied it enough. Sounds like an interesting idea. I need to see the math behind it, though. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
But the lady to my left was trading while we were doing the show, because we're 45 minutes deep. What's up?
Yeah, I was listening and I was taking some trades. Basically, I have been scalping. You know, shout out to Sopranos, call me Edie Scalp. Oh, no, I'm joking, but actually shout out to Edie Falco. Basically, what I've been doing is I am getting in trades if I feel confident in the level. The second I don't, I get out. That has been amazing. I still have like mental stops, mind you. I still have areas where I want to get out if things go awry. But I think a lot of it is less getting married to those areas and more getting married to trusting myself. That is what, you know what I mean? Like that's what I've really been trying to care about. So initially I wanted to go long Nvidia off that 124. That would have worked for a nice 20-cent scalp. But then when I noticed, hey, we're not holding that, I said, Adara, take it short. We didn't break down from 124 convincingly enough for me to stay in. Took like 7 pennies and I left. This is the type of thing we need to do. Right now I am up on the day. Like I said, yesterday was pretty, thank you, I appreciate that. Yesterday was pretty rough, and I think it was rough because I was getting too in my head about, you know, sounding positive. I'm a pretty optimistic person, but I also find that I trade my best when I'm hard on myself and when I'm like, yo, Adara, that was not the vibe. So I'm gonna go back to that today. Pleased as punch. Hopefully doing some more punching in and out of some things today. Up on Tesla, up on Nvidia, flat on IWM, ready to you know, keep rustling with the Russell and everything there. This has been such a fun day. Shout out to Kevin O'Leary, shout out to Brendan with that interview, shout out to everyone. Happy morning, everybody.
Yes,
how are you?
I'm good. I haven't traded at all yet, but let's get to the small cap gappers du jour, Ram, before we look at the lesson of the day. So I've got Donald John Trump on here. And what a move off yesterday's closing print, 33.5. If you were able to weather the wicks that broke through the $0.50, you got rewarded here because that moved up about $2.25 to the high side there off the bottom. Still not done with that one. We're going to keep it on. MLGO, we saw Neil had one hell of a trade off MLGO. It is an interesting area here. I want to see what it does once it opens. It is halted down right now, but look at this area that it's halted. It's halted at yesterday's closing print. Essentially, 15 bucks was the close, but that level is not just the closing print. It's also the area high from yesterday. Forget about the wick. Look at the closing print. In addition to that, it also has the pre-market high right there as well. So we're skosh below 15 bucks, but this is a very volatile name. So I want to see if we do get that support quick, maybe opening to the high side once we do open back up. Let me just tell you what the tap is on MLGO. The tap means theoretical auction price 14.17. That is lower than where we're trading right now. The halt level is 14.55, so we are scheduled to open lower on MLGO. The other one, VLCN, a cool, a sweet, a light, 175% in the clear. This one started moving in the aftermarket yesterday, and then it moved in the pre-market today. The move continues after the bell. 1267 HOD, dancing with 10.5 right now. Seems to have a bit of a seller locally here at 11.5. We'll have to keep an eye on this one, VLCN. And not VLC, by the way, for all my people that like to. Do you know that program VLC? It's like a video program on Windows. Yeah. Oh my God. RGS, Ram, the other one here that's doing quite well above that $14 area. I've been waiting on this one to come back into the volume weighted average price. I got to tell you, I traded this one a little bit wrong, though. I didn't trade it, but like I looked at it the wrong way. Here's why. It kept showing you that there was a buyer in at 15. I kept staring at VWAP, and this stock kept telling me, take the long off 15. Now, there's a bunch of reasons for that. Number one, we know that 15 was a level of resistance owing to this crest over here. But once we cleared it by some distance, and we did because we got up to 20 bucks, we came back and we used 15 level of support here, here, and then finally giving way there. So third time, not a charm off 15, but I should have been playing RGS off that $15 level. Alas, I didn't. So keeping my eye on that one. And then C-Pop was absolutely popping to the upside earlier, but it is no longer doing that, Adair. 234 HOD. It is now down below the volume weighted average price at $1.75. A bit of a consolidation area here. We know that there was a lot of chop and churn between that $1.65 to $1.95 in the earlier trading session. So we'll have to see if this one can recover from being below the volume weighted average price. And then this one, I heard someone really tap themselves on the back in the chat there saying, I told you guys NNE was gonna go. I told you, nobody listened to me. Well, my friend, take that victory lap because you were absolutely accurate, whoever you are. 37.5 HOD. This one closed out yesterday at around 21 bucks. So we're 17.5 bucks at the high. Higher than the close from yesterday. It is doing the dance with no pants right now with the 10 exponential. Let's see if this one can hold it on a closing basis and possibly curl back up. In addition to the 10 exponential, where it's finding some support right now at 33.5, 33 2/3. It also has this area crest at 33. So I'd like to see it generally hold that $33 area. It doesn't have to hold it on a strict penny basis, but generally, and then maybe get it on the back end, as Neil likes to say, while that bad boy is curling up. So those are the small cap gappers. I'm looking at those 6 at the moment, and then maybe we'll see. We can rotate some other ones. Anything you want to mention before I just start the lesson?
Yeah, NNE, I like 26. 26 did hold, and then it was like, yeah, Darren, you're not going to have an opportunity to trade that. But I think I like what you had to say. It's like what you said about I didn't trade it, but I had to think about my idea on it. Because that's one thing I learned from Neil. You're not going to be able to take every trade, but if you can learn from like what you didn't do on it, yeah, because it was the same with like 26 NNE. I was like, you know, now I learned that that was maybe the right idea. I would have had to give it a little bit more risk.
Yeah.
I was able to watch the book and the tape when it happened. So you got to, I just wanted to shout you out for saying that.
Yeah.
Also, Nvidia, 124.20 is deeply fascinating to me. That was support in the book. Now it's resistance. If this comes again, you guys know I'm taking this short. So that's really what I'm looking at right now. Nvidia, 124.20.
Sounds good. All right, guys, let's get to the lesson of the day. All week, we're talking about average true range. Short is ATR. I'm sure you've heard of it if you have been in this trading game for a little bit. So traders, ditch that one-size-fits-all profit target approach. Today, we'll explore how the average true range, ATR for short, of course, can help you set realistic intraday profit targets based on real-time market volatility. So let's get to dropping lines? I don't know. So the problem with fixed targets is they are just that. They're fixed. They're not dynamic. They don't take into consideration the most recent data in the market. So imagine setting a daily profit target goal of 100 bucks. Sounds good, right? But what if the market is super volatile, right? Offering a chance for much bigger gains. So you put that $100 PT and the market ends up giving you 500 or 300. You're going to feel pretty crappy, even though you should always be grateful. And also, the market can be calm, so exactly the opposite, can be calm, making that $100 profit target quite unrealistic. And also, fixed targets can leave you frustrated or tempt you to overtrade just to reach them. So you don't want to set these fixed targets that don't take the intraday nuances of the market into consideration, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm seeing the market pumping here. Am I wrong? Yeah, Apple's moving to the high side here. That's all. So the future's at day's high right now, guys. We're about we just broke 19,950. So yeah, keep your eye on the markets moving. So ATR offers that solution to using these fixed profit targets, average true range. So you enter the ATR, your intraday volatility meter. Here's how to use ATR to set realistic profit targets. 1, calculate your target. So instead of a fixed number, use the ATR to create dynamic targets that adjust to daily volatility. Here's a simple formula. Okay, so for your long entry, so if you're going to go long and you want a profit target for a long, it's going to be your entry price plus the average true range of the instrument that you're trading multiplied by a factor of 1, 2, or 3. We'll talk about that factor and how it features in a second. The whole point here is to base it on the current market conditions. And I'm giving you kind of cookie cutter formulas, but they're gonna make sense in a second. Your short entry for your profit target, much the same. It's gonna be your entry price this time though, minus the average true range, and again, multiplied by a multiplier, by a factor, whatever word you wanna call it. Again, we're gonna talk about that in a second. The factor you choose, here's the kicker. The factor you choose depends on 1, your risk tolerance, and 2, your strategy. So if you're range trading, can you have a profit target as high up or as big as a breakout trade? Typically not. You might, depending really how wide the range is. But the whole point is, if you're taking a breakout trade, your profit target should be a little bit more lofty than when you're taking a range trade or a scalp. That's not a hard and fast rule, but one that usually rings true. So your factor should depend on your risk tolerance, how much you're willing to risk, and your specific trading strategy. A higher factor aims for larger but less frequent profits, while a lower factor targets smaller, more frequent gains. So this multiplier here, kind of important because it's really gonna make or break whether you reach your target. And you're gonna probably have to play around with that multiplier in different markets to figure out where it makes sense. So here's an example in action. Let's say you buy a stock at 50 bucks, all right? The average true range for the instrument, whatever it is, let's just pretend it's stock ABC. The ATR for that stock ABC, $3, okay? You decide to use a factor of 1 for a moderate target. Here's what your formula would look like. It'd be 50, the price that you bought the stock for, plus, and then obviously we have to use bed mass here. I know, right? That's a blast from the past. And if you guys don't know what bed mass is, do a quick Google search, okay? All right? $3 times 1, because you're using a 1 multiplier, then you add the 3 to the 50, so your price target, $3, okay? So you're using a 1 times multiplier here, so you're multiplying the true range, the average true range by 1, so you're basically staying within that 1-time true range, all right? Volatility does matter too in these cases. So imagine on another day, right? The ATR for that same stock A, B, and C, is only $1, not 3 anymore, right? So your long target here has to change, right? If your long target, if your long target was, if your long target on here is still to buy the stock ABC at 50 bucks, your profit taker is no longer going to be at 53, but it's going to be at 51. You have $1 average true range, and you have a 1 multiplier. You multiply those together. 1 times 1 we know is 1. So you add that 1 to 50, and that's where you're wetting your beak, okay? So the multiplier important. The ATR on the stock as well, equally as important. So what are the benefits of ATR-based targets? I think you guys can pretty much gauge this, but I'll tell you anyway. Realistic expectations first and foremost. You set targets based on what the market can typically deliver that day, reducing frustration rather than what you want the market to deliver to you on that day, all right? The adaptability, a component of this, can't be understated as well. Your targets adjust to the changing volatility, allowing you to capitalize on opportunities during different market conditions. So you can use a more lofty multiplier for the more volatile time periods where you can possibly reap some more rewards, and you use a smaller multiplier for those more less volatile time periods. Let's call them that. And risk management, very important a factor to consider in ATR-based targets. Since targets are based on volatility using ATR and the multiplier, they can help you avoid overextending yourself during volatile markets. So if you know that you're, a more calm type of trader, and you know that the ATR has opened up on a particular name, you can kind of cool it down. Be like, no, I don't really want to trade in this market right now, or, let me make my multiplier 0.5, right? So you don't actually have to have a 1 multiplier, meaning if you bought that same $50 stock and the ATR on that one was 1, well, you can take half that. You don't have to take the entire thing. So those are the benefits of ATR-based targets. And remember, guys, ATR, the issue with ATR is its historical nature. It is a lagging indicator as opposed to a leading indicator like RSI, for example, RSI price divergence, like we talked about it in the past. So obviously, the drawback of that is showing you what it did in the past rather than what it may do in the future. But history has a way of rhyming as opposed to repeating. And obviously goes without saying, you should be combining the average true range indicator with other analysis tools, whether fundamental or technical, to give you that overall picture. You should also be looking at the overall market sentiment. Are we up on the future? Are we down on the future? What's this sector specifically for the instrument that I'm going to trade? What's this sector doing? For example, if you're trading solar, you need to know about solar getting beat up. If you're trading chips, you need to know that chips are very strong. So you need to take a lot of factors into consideration, not just the average true range there.
I love how adaptable that is. It really it gives you lots of little wiggle room. It really lets you, because we've talked about this personality is such a huge part of trading, and it really lets you put your own personality in there. So I think that's a really cool element of ATR. And part of the true is being true to yourself, average true range, finding yourself.
Look what Neil wrote in the chat.
Where is
Don't tell Terrence Howard that 1 times 1 is 1. I know, but it's funny.
That's good.
Shout out to Neil.
Yeah, shout out to Neil there, and shout out to Sharif for that awesome lesson. I think one thing, too, I was thinking about this as you were saying this with regards to the ATR, knowing your personality. If you're a patient trader, is I think you have to sometimes recognize if you're impatient. I think one thing I was trying to do was to make myself more patient through trading. No, I think what I had to realize is I have to just accept I'm impatient, and that's why I feel like the scalping helps me. I got involved in this long AMD off the 90 MA bounce, 159.73s. I was gonna risk into 60s, and then I wanted to take profit out at 160.02s initially, right? Then I noticed we got to 159.90s and sold off lickety split. I said, no, Adara, just get out at 83s. I took 10 pennies. I was like, I could have had more, but A, it would have taken forever. I watched the book on this because I wanted to learn from this trade. And B, it was like, Adara, you would not have stayed for that anyway. So sometimes you have to take profits and recognize. I guess one thing is accepting yourself who you are. Because we talk about, having conviction in your trades, believing in your trades. I don't really think you can believe in your trades until you believe in yourself. So just one thing I was thinking about as you were giving the lesson with regards to knowing what kind of trader you are and being able to adapt your multiple with that in mind.
Yeah, it's like that story that I told the other day about my personal training experience where I was selling very expensive packages, and it was like I was selling them hesitantly. Like I was just like, I love doing the job, but I didn't like selling very expensive things to people, and so my sales were kind of poop. And so the fitness manager, this is like when I was a kid, came up to me. He's like, look, man, unless you really believe in what you're selling and you know that you're going to benefit them to the better, it's just going to come off. So unless you believe in what you're doing, it's always going to come off as fake. All right. We already talked about the the small cap gappers du jour. Let's now talk about the Mag 7. So what's strongest on the day? Well, a quick cursory review will tell you Nvidia is up 6.15%. So it's basically trying to retrace the entire loss from yesterday, breaking through 125 not that long ago. It was definitely consolidating below that 125 area for a bit, kind of using that 124.75 area as a bit of a top. It is now breaking through that area. We'll keep an eye on that. And then we also have goggles, new all-time high on GOOGL, 182.82. This one's had an absolute love affair with a 10 exponential on the 5. That looks good. Right now, though, topping tail candle coming in. Watch out for that. It hasn't closed yet. It's got 2 more minutes to close. But yeah, not a good look there if you're trend following this topping tail candle. The Zon coming into the 20 for the first time on the day since 9:40. Right there, there's that yellow line, and here it is bouncing at 188.25. Let's see what the Zon can do at these levels. I'm definitely interested in a retracement on one of these Mag 7 names. It's just going to be a matter of which one here. So looking for a nice curl down on AMZN onto the 20. Meta already did that. Meta broke the 10 and found its support at the 20, and now it's curling back up. So I'm kind of looking on Amazon for the same thing that we already got here on Meta. It is now time for me to go to Amazon.
Yeah, go get that express delivery there of that profit on AMZN. So basically, this topping tail candle on Tesla, before we got that, to me, Tesla looked, I'm getting out of this, this was a scalp. Tesla looked like a nice little long here. It looks like we were bouncing all beautifully at that time at 187. And I was like, oh, cool, Adara, take the long. Risk it into 187s. I didn't like it all we were doing on the book. Like I said, a lot of my trading is like, I'll see stuff I like based on what I see on the chart, but if me getting in or out is totally gonna be predicated on what I see in the book. So basically I saw some stuff that I was not liking on the book. We were like getting below that 187. It looked like a breakdown. So I got out of the long there. Then I was like, oh, well, that long would have worked out, but I didn't have the confidence in, so what was I doing? It was like Sharif's sales story. I was like, I did not feel confident selling that workout package, so I had to leave where I did. Obviously, it would have been a nice little scalp long here into, what is the 70s, but it's okay. Then I took the short, was like, you know, I wanted 187, so we got to 187.05. We bounced too quickly. I said, Adara, take your 10 pennies and leave here. I was really going to risk into 30. So basically, the strategy's been having tighter risk, being more honest with myself about what's working and what's not, and just being comfortable scalping. Also, shout out to Ahmed Awala. AED, $10 super chat. I'm done. Hit my D target Oklo. Say hi, 10. Hi, 10. Let's take a look at Oklo at the $10 level.
All right.
Shout out to you. I think you mentioned this yesterday as well in the super chat. Oh yeah, there, we got to 1013. Oh, this is a beautiful range. If it was not a $10 stock, I feel like this is a nice little range here. But yeah, nice look here on Oklo. Great that you hit your $10 target. This was very kind of consolidated. So shout out to you there, Ahmed. Also, I'm gonna take a look at NVO, Novo Nordisk, because that's on my side chart. We know I love my weight loss names. We know I love my GLP-1s. And I should have taken this short at the 90 MA breakdown. The reason I didn't was because at the time I was looking at it, it was bouncing off 147.50. So I was like, you know what, maybe we won't bounce. I should have paid more attention. This thing dropped like a stone. I want to see what we do here at this 146.25. Why? Because topping tail candle, but we're getting it where we had a lot of support earlier, coming back at 10. So I want to see what we do here at NVO. Its weight loss named cousin, Eli Lilly, had an announcement here with OpenAI, actually not weight loss related, but it was related here to their collaboration for some bacteria for certain treatments, right? And being able to use generative AI. The spread on Eli Lilly right now is almost $1. I'm not comfortable taking that kind of spread trading live. I'm just not, but I will trade Novo. Novo still has a catalyst. You know what, I don't see anything I like, I won't take it, but Novo spread about 5 pennies, a lot more reasonable. Spreada is worse. So if I can trade Spreada, I can trade Novo. Novo also a lot cheaper. It's about a cool third or more of the price of Meta, so not bad at all.
Hold on, this company's in not Finland. What's the company?
Denmark.
Can I tell you that this company has fundamentally changed how that country operates?
Really?
Yeah, they were talking about it. It was kind of like Nokia with Finland. That's why I asked you about Finland again, right?
Yeah.
Because they were drawing the same comparisons with that. So interesting. That company's just so big, it's overshadowing the. I don't want to say overshadowing the entire country. That's not a fair statement, but definitely big in that country there. All right, wet my beak on Amazon. Nice 15 pennies in the money. Again, just the whole point of this entry was a 20-period retracement on the 5-20 period exponential retracement. The first time it's touched the 20 since this candle over here at 940. It has been an absolute dalliance there with the 10. No closing print until this one over here south of the 10. So we'll see what we get and we won't get upset. I already wet my beak. We'll see if we can break through the $0.50. But yeah, I'm seeing some, a little bit of weakness coming into the market. We're off the highs on the NQ September contract. We'll see if we can continue to rise here through that $0.50 on AMZN. I don't really have any other trades because nothing is really coming in on a pullback in the way that I like. I mean, Google, I'm unreal. We just talked about this candle being a topping tail candle, and there you go. Another hold of the 10 period right above 10 pennies off day's highs. Maybe I shouldn't really put too much stock into these topping tail candles today on Google because you got one right here and it did bupkis. It continued to move up. So I guess that's not really a thing today. Tesla, interesting today. Adara had multiple winners on Tesla. I got to shout her out there. I saw them live while we had Kevin O'Leary dropping hot lines. I want to see if we do get a hold up at the 20 exponential on TSLA. I'm less likely to use the 20 exponential on Tesla. Like than I would on Amazon. Maybe VWAP 185.50. Tesla's really respected the volume weighted average price today. A couple of reasons for that. One, when it did retrace into VWAP, this was the pre-market crest. That 185 area was as good as we could do in the pre. Come the bell, we clear 185, we get into 187, then lo and behold, we come back into 185 and hold it. So if we come into that level, I'll be looking to see how it trades, but not much for me at the moment. Let's flip to some of these small cap gappers, see if anything's setting up. RGS is, I mean, it's bouncing off VWAP here, but if I had to take a guess, you know, this looks like it's flat bottom breaking. If it breaks through VWAP, I have no interest in trading this as a range or as a breakout. In fact, I'm going to ask Neil how much it's going to cost me to get shorts on this monster, because what I've been seeing lately is we're getting a lot of VWAP breaks here on these small cap gappers and no continuity, or not no, but less continuity in the into higher levels after it comes into VWAP. So I'll be looking at that. I'll be all eyes, ears, and whatever other sensory organs I may have in my body. We'll keep eyes on those, Adair.
I love the turn that took at the end there. Also, I would like to, I'm going to switch to looking at the chat. I'm really just waiting for levels to hit in here. I like Novo at 146.25, but I want to watch a little bit longer. AMD, if you reject that 9 EMA, I am AM down. So let's get involved in that, but not right yet. But there's a couple things in the chat I would like to chat about. Aaron Smith saying, does the Fed speak today at 12? Yes. We do have Fed's Cook, not seeing any comments from Fed's Cook. I think that what will be more interesting is Fed's Bowman coming at 14.10. There are certain Feds that will move the market and or they're hawkish and or they have a tendency to say things that are like a little bit more out of pocket from what we're hearing. One of them is Bowman. One of them is Kashkari. One of them is going to be Mester, although Mester is retiring in less than a week. So Kashkari and Bowman. Bowman this morning was like, yeah, I'm down for rate hikes if required. So what I'm trying to make is Bowman, I would say, could be a little bit spicier coming at 2:10. We also have the auction, 2-year note auction coming at 1 p.m. So that is our little housekeeping of the day. Thank you, Aaron Smith. Also, some comments coming through.
Yeah, I'm just going to read those out since you mentioned it. Fed Cook says, current policy well positioned to respond to economic outlook at some point. He goes on to say, it will be appropriate to cut rates. Monetary policy is already restrictive. Timing of any policy adjustment will depend on economic data and its implications for the outlook, balance of risks. Very attentive to inflation expectations. I should hope so. It's your job. Fed's at some point will be time to cut interest rates, but we'll talk about all that and much more once Neil Roberts is done dropping hot lines. It's time for his lesson of the day.
Welcome to the lesson of the day. A little bit later because we had our guest on and wanted to settle back in, let the team go through their lesson. But I think sometimes when you're evaluating your trading performance on a given day, or maybe you journal, maybe you don't, maybe you just want to review your trade, like how did I do? Did I follow my plan? It's an important thing, and it's not always as easy as most people think. Okay, well, I intended to buy stock. If I wanted to buy stock at $100, did I buy it in front of 100? Did I have a stop level? Did I adhere to my stop when it broke? All these are important questions. But I always say that any trade is an if-then statement. If a stock gets to a certain price or does a certain thing or an indicator gives a certain reaction, then I want to do X. Buy it, sell it within this price range. It's my execution part. I want to get out if it hits this stop level, or if this moving average gets rejected, or something along those lines. I want to take profits at these intervals. All of these types of things can be part of a plan. So it behooves you, before you go over and look at okay, how did I do on this trade? You've got to go right back to the original plan. You cannot talk about your performance on a trade without looking at what was it that you intended to do on the stock, right? So I look back and it's like, okay, fine, like ARM I lost. I went short on ARM, so obviously ARM's going to go up. Easy's, yeah, we lost on it, but I adhered to my stop level, so I kept it pretty tight. Like I looked for the break. I didn't short it till it got underneath 160. I then waited for another key level and waited for another key level. So all those things are usually right. And if you see me trade, that's exactly what a bad stock will look for me. Like short, but took my out. Took some profit where it could, but took my out, my stop. Shorted it, didn't go, took my out, took my medicine. But what did I say this morning when it was my top idea? It has fallen into major support level for the recent run. Short if 150 breaks, If it holds, bounce could be significant with 160 to 162 resistance. So if that's the plan, then as much as this is a disciplined trade here that actually would have made money, it did make money, like this one in here. This level, it didn't make any money. I didn't take this trade, it would have made money. But when looking at the actual plan that I had for the stock, it's not enough to just look at these individual trades and say, hey, you stuck to what was a disciplined structure when you were against the grain. No, that was very much against the plan. Because if 150 holds, and I would venture to say it snaps underneath, comes right back, puts up a higher low, does a breakout at the top, you can play nuance all you want. It's clearly held with a snapback that holds above VWAP. Once it's consolidating above VWAP here, I think that classifies as enough of a hold that there's no need to still be short it or looking for shorts. And when I've also said that a hold of that level can get back to 160, then the impetus, whether or not you're long, that would indicate you should be looking for longs after that, but there should be no shorts. So it doesn't matter that this trade won. It doesn't matter that this trade had a tight and reasonable stop and that one had a tight and reasonable stop. It's completely irrelevant because that actually wasn't the plan, and that's what's more important. When you are evaluating trades, it's not enough to just say, I got in at this price, I got out at that price, hey, that was reasonable, I adhered to my stop, I took profit, that looks pretty good. I can't argue with my executions on that. No, what was your actual plan of action, silly? And if that wasn't your plan of action, then it's not to say that it's a fail, but it's to say when you evaluated it was wrong. And I'm going to go over to Tesla, where for the last couple of days, for the last couple of weeks, there have been two pretty key levels on Tesla. And it's at the point now where every single time we pull up Tesla, I say 182, 180. Every time. I just feel like there hasn't been a day in the last 2 weeks that I haven't mentioned these two in our morning show as a level, so much to the point I don't even bother putting it on my note. I don't erase it on my iPad anymore. There's 180, there's 182, there's 180, 82 breakout, hold, all that good stuff. So this morning, same thing, double bottom yesterday at 182 bucks, and obviously, I got a piece of the long when it broke out the previous high and then dipped back into 185. We played it into 187. There's nothing wrong with that. Up on Tesla, longs were good, all that stuff. Clap all you want, pat yourself on the back. Wrong. This is a fail. It's a fail. Yes, there is a silver lining here in that I'm positive on it because I joined the trend after it held the key price level. But there is the key price level at the open. There's very few times. It's going to happen from time to time, but there are very few times you're going to get a level like this that you have picked as one that is key, where it also bounced off that price, where it closed pretty much at that price, 182.5. Then it dips right at the open, and this is not like 9:30 and 30 seconds or anything. This is right here at the bottom, 9:36, double bottom 9:39. That is at least 3 or 4 minutes down here where you can have a long off the 182. And on top of that, there's a higher low to be played as well over there on Tesla, bouncing at that level. So when we talk about evaluating a trade or evaluating performance, it's important to understand that this is a mental game, and this is a game that you are playing for yourself. Nobody is ever getting paid on someone else's net. You are there to follow your trading plan and your trading plan alone. And just because, in the case of ARM, hey, great, you adhered to reasonable stop levels, you fought it, but you didn't have any egregious notional moves where you didn't take your out, managed to find some profit on the shorts, some of the shorts that you did have. Doesn't matter, didn't follow plan. That's how I have to evaluate it and go from there. Same thing with Tesla. Might be up on it, might have had some good longs, and you have to move on when you miss a trade. But when I'm evaluating that trade, it starts with the failure of not following the plan and getting that original long. And I have to address, why was I not in that long? Because I prioritized Rivian to a certain extent and a couple of other names at the open at 9:30. So that's what you have to look back for. Why did I miss Tesla? Because I was not on that level 2. I have 4 level 2s up, and for whatever reason at that price level, I decided Tesla was not one of the 4 that I would have up. It bounced off a key price when I didn't see, and that's the most important thing about it today. It doesn't matter how much you make later on it. the best opportunity was one that was missed. And when you are evaluating trades, it's very important that you don't just look at the P&L or I got in this price, I got out that price. Remember what your actual execution plan was and judge your ability to follow that or not follow that, because that's where consistency is going to come from. If you can't consistently have a solid execution plan, nothing is going to matter. Risk to reward matters, having a good idea matters, but following up on those is just as important. That is your lesson of the day.
Thank you very much, Neil. Dropping hot fire, as always. Who are the top 5, I was going to say rappers or traders, but, you know,
No.
of all time? Neil Roberts. Neil Roberts. Shout out to
What about the top 5 tickers,
Dial-up.
though?
He knows exactly what I'm
What
talking
about the top 5 tickers, though?
The top 5 tickers, I don't know.
You vote for those. You have to vote
Yes,
for them. That's what I'm
thank
trying to
you,
do as a
Adara. I
transition,
was so not alive to that. Thank you very much.
Go in the chat right now, guys, and vote for whatever
There you go.
tickers you want to see Sharif chat about on the green screen, where he will be standing but also like talking and stuff. And you will be seeing that at 1 p.m. Go in the chat. Sorry, not 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Go in the chat right now. You have until 1:50. Exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you fancy.
And I've been working really hard at standing and talking at the same time. It's been difficult. It's been very
He's
hard.
roasting me.
But you know, I've mastered maybe.
Just go.
She's slow clapping. Reb, come on, Reb. I told you about your hair today. You know, the green shirt I commented about. This is what I get. All right, let's go to the screen, Reb. I took along before we left you guys on Neil's hotline lesson of the day. We got long on the Zon because the 20 exponential held up. I wet my beak there for a nice 15-penny winner. However, then we got the break, and I said, look, if it's going to break the 20, then why am I not getting short? It's exactly what I did. Covered the last remaining amount for a little bit of a loser, punch short, cover, and now I'm out of the trade. I want to see what it does with 188. It's dancing a little bit above 188, a little bit below. If it breaks 188, I'm going to take it south again. However, but it holds 188, I'll take that mean reversion back maybe to 188.84 or wherever the hell the high of day is on AMZN. Watching right now, let's see what we get. Big Kyle Burdett, $2 super chat. Sarcasm is this man's middle name.
Oh, yeah.
It's big sarcastic Kyle Burdett. Sharif greater outstanding than Neil. It's not hard, bro. You just, you know, you stand. You just, you know. I can even lean on walls, too. I've done it before. I do it on the subway. It's all good. What are you looking at over there?
Yeah, I'm looking at, I don't want to say heartache, that'd be dramatic, but I'm looking at AMD. I had the right call. I didn't play it right. I want to shout out what Neil said. If you stick to your plan, you cannot be too upset. Oof. I got short AMD because we were below the 90 MA. This was actually a great look for a while. And you know why I picked? Initially, I was going to be a little bit more finicky. You guys know what I'm like. I was like, 46s, I'm out. And if you know, I want to see what we do with the 90 MA because we were below the 90 MA. At first, I was like, if we break above, and it was like, no, Adara. A way better area for AMD, and it ended up working, was going to be 159.60. So I said, Adara, if we get above 159.60s with an aggression, get out. We test it, we reject. I say, great. Now I want to see what we do with the 90 MA. If we bounce off the 90 MA, that's going to be a big old issue. We did. I got out exactly where I wanted to at 60s, but then AMD did exactly what I wanted it to and fell. So it's a little bit disappointing because obviously I lost in this trade and it ended up being the right idea, but then I can learn from that and be like, Adara, you stuck to your plan. You could not be too upset. So I just really want to shout out Neil for that lesson of the day. It was huge for me to learn. Slightly down in the day right now. I am ready to keep climbing. Like I said, I've been, since yesterday, really what I've been trying to do is, and I'm trying to do that going forward, of course, is taking every trade like it's my last. Like I have nothing, like I have literally like nothing to lose because either I will take this trade or everything will go against me. And I'm like, that's the type of trading I need to be doing. That's what I make. Oddly enough, I think the decisions that make the most sense because I love having that pressure on me. That's what I'm going to be doing right now. Hey, AMD. Hey, AMD. If you want to bounce off like these 159s and, you know, go to 60s and reject, I have no qualms taking you long. I am qualmless, AMD. Qualmless. You hear me? Yes, AMD, hear me. I'm going to be getting long here into 60s. Let's see. Actually, I don't think I'll get filled, but we're going to try for 18s. We're going to try a smallerish position. We're going to see what happens. If we break into that 159s in a way that I do not like, I will be getting out. That's the vibe. You have to have confidence. If you don't have confidence, what do you have? If you don't believe in yourself, What are you doing? I'm going to stop pontificating and monologuing now, but that's what I'm trying to do here on AMD. And that's what I'm trying to do in AMD, and that's what I'm really just trying to do in my trades in general. Believe in myself more and try to take every opportunity I like, because otherwise I'm not going to realize how those manifest. Now, with that in mind, take every opportunity I like within reason, in ways I can manage with tight risk management. Like if I'm trying to go for 60s and I'm risking into 159s and I got involved 159.18, I can live with that risk to reward. How are you doing over here?
I'm good. I'm just getting some shorts thanks to Neil Roberts for C-poop. I mean C-pop. Sorry, I didn't mean that. I don't know. Just, I'm feeling whimsical.
I like that.
Look, I like this $2 area, guys. Last time we tried to, we were dancing with... Don't vote for C-poop, too. There's no ticker called C-poop. It's C-pop. Don't do it. Now that I'm done wagging my finger at you, let me tell you about why I want to get short on C-pop. Because that $2 area was a bit of a top. Last time we had 2 wicking candles through $2. If we reject VWAP because it's another 2 rejection, at least I want to have them ready to go. You guys know I don't typically short these small cap, low float gappers all that much, but lately I've been just, I don't know, I've been feeling some kind of way about these. So we'll see exactly what we get here, and I'll be looking to get short possibly here if I like what I see now that I've got secured. It cost me a whole 12 pennies for 100 shares. Shout out to Real Trading, because they are our sponsor, and they're the reason why I can get these for 12 whole pennies.
A whole 12 pennies.
A whole 12 pennies, Adair. I'm going to have to shut down now.
I was going to say, are you going to be able to be okay with that?
I'm over my risk.
Shout out to Real Trading.
Yeah. Another thing that I wanted to mention here, Donald John Trump. Definitely down on the day, big down day today after a good yesterday. But look at this. It's been bouncing off this 33.5, now quadruple bottom on the 5-minute chart. You had the initial test at 11.05, multiple tests into 11.20, and we just got another one right here, bouncing off that general 33.50. Alas, it is having trouble making higher highs. Now, we have a bit of a higher low on a closing basis here with this right trough than we do with the left trough. But we're going to wait for, what I'm going to wait for here to see if the winds of change on DJT has started to come in, is that 35.25 break to make a higher high. So we got the higher low. Now can we get that higher high? And all the while knowing that the volume weighted average price is waiting for me right there at 35.40, just a skosh above that 35.25. So keeping my eye on DJT, and I've got one eye on DJT and one eye on CPOP. So today, if you see me and I'm a little cross-eyed, it's because I'm looking at both these bad boys on the chart. Adair.
I was not prepared for that transition, and yet I enjoy it. And if there's any tickers you're looking at, say like up to 5, go in the chat right now. Exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you like. Only one per person. I say up to 5 because Sharif will talk about 5 on the green screen, and Neil and Sean will discuss their strategies, their looks. And what's great too is, like, let's say there's a name in a sector. Maybe Sean and Neil didn't trade that name, but they'll look at the sector. They'll look at something else in the name.
Yes.
It's a really fun, adaptable audience segment, and because we love democracy over here at Trader TV Live. So if you want to get a piece of that action, just get involved right now. It's really easy in the chat. Exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you fancy, or whatever tickers your fancy. I don't know. You guys know what tickers are.
Ram.
Is actually voting here for C.
Don't do it, Ram.
But also, big caliber debt voting, exclamation point, join, $, a certain emoji that was played by Sir Patrick Stewart in the Emoji Movie, and that is actually the emoji he played in the Emoji Movie, which is really weird. But yeah, he did play that emoji. So shout out to Kyle Burdett there. Thank you very much for the super chat. Ramin also trying to vote for Stash, so she's having a great old time in the chat. Shout out to Ramin and Fabian and everyone behind us, in front of us, in the chat, everywhere. So happy to be here. AMD, you might be like, Adara, what are you doing in AMD? Yeah, I'm doing things. I liked this short because, and honestly, if this short had been, I tried to go long here, we broke below 159. I said, nah, that's fine. I got short here because I was like, you know what I want to see is I want to see a break into that 159. I had my order 159.01s. We get to 159.03s, and AMD's like, yeah, no. And I said, Are you kidding me, AMD? I added to the position because we were rejecting 30s. If we keep rejecting 30s, by the way, why do I like 30s? 30s was an area that was really saucy and interesting for AMD earlier. So I will take the 30s. If not, I'll get out here. I'm fine with that, whatever, but I have no reason to leave until I see a decisive change in the tides here, as Sharif likes to say, at 30s. You know what? Like, you have to commit to your trades. I will be honest, I feel wishy-washier about AMD than I should. I should have probably scalped out the second we had that bounce at 159, but I still like that 159.30 rejection. I'm sticking with it. I'm gonna be like, we're all about honesty here. My honest reaction to this trade right now is, But I don't want to leave until I see us break above 159.30 because that is still an area. I should have planned this better. I'm going to be really, really honest. I just cannot believe AMD was 2 pennies away from my area of entry, but I got to live with that and see what I get from here.
I thought you were going to do the brother thing, but have you seen that viral? I know you're not about TikTok,
I'm
but
not,
brother,
I haven't seen that. I know that the Kendrick Lamar sound where it goes, I can't do it.
No, there's like, you know how sounds can go viral now,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
So you overlay your video on a previous sound.
Yeah.
So that's that one.
Oh,
yeah, it's super viral on TikTok.
Cool.
Favorite social media platform. All right, guys, I am short CPOP. Look, the break of 205 is going to get me stopped out here. I'll have the shorts at my disposal the rest of the day to see if I want to get back in. But for the moment, it's going to have to hold that general 2 area for me to stay interested. I'm short 192s. We're 2 pennies out of the money at the moment. But a break of that 205 area, and we're going to cut this. C-poop. Headed back to the high side here into that $2 area. Look, it's a big boy small cap gapper, 71% and change. But it did break below VWAP, so I was taking my chances with this one. We'll see what we get, and we won't get upset. A break of 205, and that's Gonzino there. So let's leave that one alone and have a look at the Mag 7 here because the winds of change may be coming on the market. I don't want to speak too soon because we just bounced off 19,900. That's a good level because, number one, it's a 100-point level, so that's interesting. Number two, we had price action consolidation range at that top area right there. The entire morning, we weren't able to break that 19.9. That is until 11:10 came, and then we broke it. So now let's see if we bounce off previous area of resistance. Now let's see if it acts as support on the market. So keeping my eye on that. Amazon continued to head down. It didn't quite make it into the volume weighted average price. This candle didn't quite make it down to VWAP. VWAP on my chart, guys, at around 187 2/3, maybe a skosh above that. Meta kind of doing a bit of a dance here above 508, sometimes above, sometimes below. Looks like 508 has been an interesting area on the day. You've got this area holding up at that general 508 area, then you dropped into the 20 exponential again, generally that 508 area, and now we're getting lower highs, but for the moment, 508's holding up. I'd be looking for a possible here flat bottom break on META, not like it was going to flush, but yeah, you'd get a break of that 508 level. Keep an eye out on that. We'll see what you get. Tesla at VWAP at the moment. Here we go. We were talking about this one earlier, how Tesla really did respect the volume weighted average price from around 1045 all the way to 1110. Multiple bounces there. It just dipped into 185.50, getting a 20-cent pump into that 185.70. We'll have to see if VWAP acts in the same way as it did previously. And it's not just VWAP, guys, right? When it was bouncing here between 1045 and 1110, this was also the pre-market high, so it had a bit of a double whammy there with respect to possible support. So keeping my eye on CPOP, 194, break even at the moment, Adair.
Yeah, so Nvidia. I went short. I was looking at this and I said, I think this could go either way, but I really like the short because on the book, we were rejecting the 90 MA at the time, 124.52s. We were like, no, we're not going any higher. Now you might be like, Adara, we had a bottoming tail candle. Yeah, we did. But we just had a topping tail candle before that. Sometimes the pattern ends up being bearish. So I was like, you know what, Adara? Try to join the bears and roar to the downside here. And Nvidia was like, but I really don't have to do that. If we break above this 124.80s, is the area I'm watching. That was that wick basis here. I'm pretty sure this is not going to work out, but it was looking nice initially. I got in because I really liked it, and I'm learning that getting in because you like things is sometimes just as important as whether or not they work out. Like Neil said, you have to worry less about the profit and more about was the idea what you wanted it to be. And it's kind of continuing an unfortunate trend for me of my areas are, maybe I need to give myself like 10 pennies more because we're getting to that 124.80. Now we're rejecting. If we bounce off 50, so we bounce off the 90 MA, I'll take it long. But AMD, I would have gotten my short. If I had stayed in this, if I got out because we broke above 30s, it got out, I had to get out. AMD, why? I feel like for AMD, where I'm setting my stops has to be where I'm setting my entries. Because I'm correct in the areas of this, I'm just playing them wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Very interesting.
Because I'm risking this into here, we break above it, then the short would have been fine. Same with this short. These ideas are not incorrect. I am playing them incorrectly. So that's the thing to learn. I'm proud of myself for that.
Good.
Same with the Nvidia, it's the same kind of idea. You gotta learn from everything. And that's why I know I'm very honest, but I think I'm honest because, like I said, I think I trade the best when things are not going the best for me. And I also, honesty and processing is how you learn. And I think that's one of the benefits of being in front of this camera.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think that, are you your own biggest critic?
Oh yeah.
Because I am myself
I think
as
that
well.
you and I know we're both like that.
Yeah. And I try to draw a line between not getting down on yourself and being a positive, a constructive critic.
Yeah.
Hard sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to you.
Thank you. That's why I like to be a positive force here on the show because I know we're all, I think in trading it's so mental, you are often your worst critic. So
100% agree. Guys, shout out to Tisha. We all know Tisha. Perkins loves her small cap gappers. Shout out to you, Tisha. I see you. I see VLCN holding $9 with a higher low. I see that. But I also see, Tisha, RGS. This one, look, it was a bit of a bamboozler because it did break VWAP by just a skosh. But it did hold up at this area bottom over here. These two area, this was essentially was the IB low because this is 930 and that's 935. So it doesn't look like it because the volume in the pre-market was so great anyway. But the point is, this one is really going. It held up at 13.5. Generally, it did dip into 13 and a fifth, but there it goes on its way to 19, 272%. It is the second triple-digit winner on the day, VLCN, Tisha, being that other one, 1997, not the year, but the level. Whoa, it's going to get breached. This thing is really moving here. 1931 now. Is it going to halt? I don't have eyes on the book right now, but it looks like RGS may halt. Let me look at my other screen. Do I have RGS on? No, I don't. It is going to not halt. It is halted. 1950, 31 is the halt. The top right now, 1950. So at least for the moment, going to open a little bit higher. We know that $20 has been resistance on the day. RGS absolutely doing fangs here. Good look there. All right, we're nicely in the money now on our C-poop trade. So it's time to wet our beak here on some profits. And there we go. I just wet my beak. There, next profit taker. We're going to wait for that 175 to come in. CPOP, guys. C-pop. I'm just joking when I call it poop. We're just having a good time over here. But this one, the reason I got in, there was an obvious level of resistance at $2 after it made its way to 2 1/3. It rejected that level, broke VWAP, came back into 2 and again, and I said, look, I want all the smoke. Whatever forest fires you have in this area, send them my way because this $2 level looks absolutely juicy. So we shorted there. Thanks to Neil, again, for securing me with those shorts. Not something I typically do, take these small cap gappers short, but it looked appropriate in the following circumstance, so I did. So that's what we're doing at the moment, nicely printing there. We'll see what we get, and we won't get upset. RGS, we'll have to load up that on a side screen, and we already have it up there. So the top currently, let me see, 1941. So the top coming a little bit lower now. It was 1950 and change. It's going to change, as the buy and sell orders come in during the halt. Now, in case you're wondering how to weasel your way into a trade while it's halted, you'll need to use a market on open order, an MOO. At least we have to on this software. So market on open orders should get you in, whether on a buy or on a sell. Apprise yourself of those. So, I almost got printed there on my next beak wetter at 82s, but alas, it only went to 181.5. So we'll have to wait for a little bit longer here, I dare to take some more profits. Big Kyle Burdett. Tagging myself in the Pawns of Fawns, selling volume picking up on Bitcoin. All right, let's have a look at BTC, what it's up to at the moment. Still about 61.5, 3 3/4 to the high side. Let's load up a chart of BTC super quick over here. Here it is. Interesting, Kyle. Lower highs. I don't like that. And if this area, this trough area over here at 61 and 3.25, 61 3.25 breaks, you could see a bit of a bigger move. There does seem to be price action support at 61,000 for whatever reason. We've been defending 61,000 on the day, so we'll have to look at there. Yeah, multiple levels, guys, because of the bigger down move lately in this name. So we'll have a lot of different price areas of support and resistance on there. Just looking at the side chart here to see what else is moving. On the day, Pan W is up again, Dees. This one's accumulating at 326. Guys, I wanted to mention something here on Pan W because you guys know this is my second biggest holding in the account. And I want to mention something that I noticed on the chart not that long ago. It's on the daily. And there's an obvious level of resistance at 325, okay? And it goes all the way back to that earnings dump that we had February 20th. When we retraced, when NYSE started buying here, we popped all the way into 325. We dropped again to 265. 265 is a different level. That's a support level. But look at this 325 come in over and over and over. But the most notable thing you need to know about this 325 is it comes with a pair of higher lows. And so this is what we call accumulation for a top break. There's obviously somebody taking profit or selling at 326, and it has been that way for the majority of the year. But once this breaks, I'm assuming it's going to break on news and not, you know, just regular price ascension. I'm assuming this is going to be like an earnings winner, something to that effect. But this 325 area, very interesting on Palo Alto Networks. Adair.
Yeah, I was, one time I remember I came in and she was like, oh, Palo Alto got an upgrade. And I was like, so, because I usually think of it as Pan W or like Palo Alto Networks. And I literally, for a second, was like, is he talking about the movie? But yeah, shout out to the 2013 classic Palo Alto. But also shout out to Palo Alto Networks, Pan W. Yeah, hopefully that one gets a nice little Pan W there, not a Pan L. Shout out to Turin Bar. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Jeez. Guys, I'm keeping my eyes on Google, or goggles, or Google, whatever you'd like to call it. It's trying to lose this ascending channel and tapering. We might be able to join sellers, waiting for more confirmation. Let's take a look at Google, or Google, or whatever you want to call it, and see how it's... Yeah, I mean, yeah, shout out to Obi there. I think this is a distinctly different move in Google to make another Obi shout out, which I don't think Sharif was prepared for. But I mean, yeah, seriously, we had this upward channel. We fell pretty viciously here off of that 9 EMA, took a little bit of a tumble. I want to see what we do at 182. Why? A, it's a whole dollar level. B, look at all this top insurance support at 182. Oh. 182 could be super spicy for Google or goggles. Let's take a look at the daily chart.
RGS halted to the high side again, guys. Sorry to interrupt.
RGS halted to the downside.
Yeah, high side.
Sorry, high side. Yeah, heard that wrong. But yeah, if you're talking about Google on the daily chart, I have to say, I think right now Google looks pretty strong on the daily. We're at what looks like all-time highs for GOOGL. Yes. I would say, you know, we took a little time here. We had that initial pause of this rally, listed closing basis around 180. If we break below 180, maybe, but I think right now, I've got to be honest with you, I think Google looks like a great look on the daily.
I told you, man, Brenda was saying sell. I was like, what? Why? What is there to sell? Turin.
Oh, that was the super chat.
Did you talk about this already?
Google.
You did. That was goggles. Okay. Shout out to him. Thank you, or them. Thank you very much for the super chat. Wow, RGS. Here we go, guys. We got one that's really pamping here, Ram. It's halted again at $20.90, Ram. And it's done. 33 million shares. Ram's so like, yo, you told me to keep my eye on the market, bro. And that's what I'm doing, so stop bugging me. She didn't say all that. I kind of ad-libbed a little bit there, but it's all good. RGS up 312%, halted now at $20.90. Let me tell you what the tap is super quick. The tap, $21.94, $22. That's $1.10 higher than where we are right now. It's changing back down to 21. It was 21.50. So needless to say, this one's moving, and definitely this one's in play. It did break the high of day. The high of day was sub 2019 and change, and now we've broken that, decidedly halted to the upside. Keep your eye on this one if you're into these kind of stocks, but make sure you are managing risk effectively here. And that means if you've got a smaller account, you need to be sizing down because this can turn in an instant, all right? And that's just the nature of these small cap gappers. I say it as a joke, but I really mean it. They're around for a good time, not typically a long time. There are the exceptions to that rule, of course, but that is not the rule. That is the exception. So shout out anybody trading that one. Take care. Big Kyle, Big Spile Burdette, SPY trying for new low of day. Really? Let's see. Where's the ES at? Oh, yeah, you're not wrong, Kyle. Shout out to you. Yeah, distinctly different look between the ES and the NQ on the day. The ES is flat. The NQ is up 0.75%. So, yeah, a bit of a different look there. Now, back to my trade. Now, I'm now 2 pennies out of the money after being well in the money on this trade. So let me tell you, if this breaks 2, it's over, right? I've already put my stop on the other side of 2. If this takes 2, and I put it at 202, quite frankly, so not exactly at 2, but if it breaks $2, $2.02, I'm out. I'm gonna wet my beak at around 181 or whatever that is, but it's gotta stay below that level. Otherwise, I want no smoke. So we'll keep an eye on that. What else? This other small cap gapper is still pretty good as well, but kind of in no man's land at the moment. Maybe at the 20 period here. Let's refresh. Yeah, NNE. It does these breaches below the 20 period. Most notably, though, about NNE is that this area, for whatever reason, this $33 area has a lot of interaction. We crested there initially, and we've been kind of bouncing off there. Obviously, the wicks go a lot deeper than 33, but look at those closing prints. They're all in that 32-ish, mid-32-ish range. So trying to hold up here. I don't like the look, to be honest with you. The range per candle is just too wide for my blood, so that's it. So now I'm out of C-poop, and it is poop because it broke above $2. So now we're going to look at this as a long. So let's keep an eye on this one here, because if it continues going the way it's going, well, then the winds of change may have come on this one, and we'll definitely flip how we trade it. So we'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I did a thing, and I say a thing because this is a thing I may get a little bit of, you know, flack for or question marks about. I shorted Nvidia here. Why did I short Nvidia here? I see this topping tail candle in the 5 on my side chart. My short sense is tickling, you know, like Spider-Man, his Spidey sense is my short sense. I see that type of candle, especially because it was that, and then I look at the chart, I'm like, hey, so like, where are we at? Pull it up on my big old screen here. I'm like, oh, we had that at 124.80, which was a pretty big area of resistance earlier. I want every bit of that smoke there. That might be my first pushback of the day. Oh. Please, this dang punch. Basically, I was going to risk if we broke above 125, I would have gotten out there. But really, I just wanted to see us have these lower lows, lower highs in the book. We took our time. It required some patience, but I packed my patience as much as my patience has a very small Samsonite bag. My patience doesn't have a large suitcase. It's like, it's a carry-on. But you know, yeah, we packed that carry-on, and it was all good there. I want to shout out Sheree for the pack your patience, because it really does help. I just stared at this. I believed in the trade, so I was willing to have the patience to take the trade. I had the confidence for it. Hey. Still down in the day, still down in Nvidia, but we know I'm always bullish positivity. Where are you at, semiconductors? Where are you at, Tesla and IWM? I'm coming for you.
Get it.
But we're always also coming for learning as well.
Absolutely. I was just looking at quick there at Pandub, but yeah, ready. All right, guys, we're talking about average true range all week. Yesterday, we kind of introduced the concept to you just to kind of get the foundation there. Today, we'll be talking about how to use it to set your profit targets. And that's so important, at least for me, because sometimes I feel like, you know, I'm only basing it on support and resistance or trying to make that daily figure. And that may be trouble for some markets and some traders. So traders, ditch that one-size-fits-all approach to profit targets. Today, we'll explore how average true range, ATR for short, can help set realistic intraday profit targets based on real-time market volatility. So let's get to it right now. So the problem with fixed targets. So imagine setting a daily profit target of around $100. Sounds good, right? But what if the market is super volatile and it offers you way more potential than the $100? However, on the other side of the coin, what if the market is very calm and that $100 is kind of a stretch? Fixed targets can leave you frustrated at times or tempt you to overtrade, and that's why we employ average true range to kind of help take the subjectivity out of it and offer us more of an objective target. So the ATR solution is basically, here's how to use it. The first step is you're going to calculate your target. What do I mean by that? So instead of a fixed number, use average true range for a particular instrument. to create a dynamic target that adjusts with daily volatility. Here's the simple formula. If you want to go long, your entry price, you're going to take your entry price, whatever, 50 bucks, you're going to add that to the average true range. And then you're going to use a multiplier. The multiplier can be 1, it can be half, it can be 2, it can be 3. The point here is to kind of gauge the market and see, is it a very volatile day? Am I a good trend trader? If that's the case, then I should be trying to maximize as much as I can out of these markets. Increase your multiplier. However, if I'm not a good momentum trend trader and it's very volatile, I may want to drop the multiplier to have, more peace of mind. So you're going to have to figure out how to use the multiplier for this formula based on the current market conditions. Same thing with the short. It's your entry price minus your average true range, and then multiplied by your multiplier. And I want to show you guys what ATR looks like on a chart. So here is ATR at the bottom. It's kind of the same area where we have RSI. And so what you're seeing is at times, like this is a chart on PanW, by the way. As you can see here, when we had that huge huadunk back on February 20th on the earnings miss, the average true range on this one spiked up to at a point $25. Obviously, that's a bit of an outlier. So if I'm looking at the ATR, it behooves me to look at what the ATR is lately, rather than what the ATR was in February. It's not going to help me any if I'm using an ATR of 25 in January or in June when the ATR is 10 because it was 25 in February and March. So you got to look at where the ATR is, and you're not going to have an exact level for it, right? You're going to have to basically gauge it. Sorry, just have to move that out. Yes, so that is the formula there. The factor you choose, so your multiplier, depends on your risk tolerance and on your strategy. A higher factor, your multiplier, again, aims for larger but less frequent profits, while a lower factor targets smaller but more frequent gains, right? So an example in action. Let's say you buy a stock at 50 bucks. The average true range on it is 3 bucks. You decide you want to use a multiplier of 1 because you're neither really risky nor super conservative. You're somewhere in between. So you're not going to use half, 0.5. You're not going to use 2. You're just going to use 1. Okay? So you're going to look to take it for its true range on the day. So this is how you do it. It'd be 50 plus, and then you do obviously brackets first. 3 multiplied by 1 is 3. Add the 3 to 50. You have $53 price target. That's where you would look to wet your beak. That doesn't mean you got in at 50, by the way, right? The stock opened at 50. It has a true range of 3 bucks. So you know, based on ATR, it's going to get to possibly 53. So you didn't necessarily get in at 50, but the opening price was 50 bucks. So you have to make sure that you know the difference there. And volatility does matter. So imagine on another day, you buy that same $50 stock, but the ATR, the average true range on that stock today is only $1. Kind of the same as we saw with PanW, 25 in February, 10 now, right? So you would have to adjust your formula, obviously. It would be 50, 1 times 1, right? $1 ATR multiplied by $1 multiplier, and that's your target. Your target will be $51, and that's where you take profitability. So kind of a simple formula, but obviously a bit more nuanced because you have to use a multiplier that works for you and works based on the current market conditions. So some benefits of average true range based targets are the realistic expectations that they provide. You set targets based on what the market can typically deliver that day rather than what you want, which helps reduce frustration and overtrading. Adaptability as well. Your targets adjust to the changing volatility, right? So allowing you to capitalize on opportunities in different market conditions. If the ATR was 25 in February on PanW and now 10 now, it adapts to the current market volatility. And the risk management as well, it really can't be understated for its use there. Since targets are based on volatility, they can help you avoid overextending yourself during those more volatile markets, especially if you're not a trend trader and you don't like these breakout trades. You don't like when things are up and to the right. You want things in a more calm nature where you can gauge support and resistance. If that's your style, definitely use a smaller multiplier there. And remember, ATR, it measures the historical volatility, not the future. It is a lagging, not a leading indicator, and you need to keep that in mind. And it's kind of incumbent upon you to figure out other technical indicators or other tools. They can be fundamental as well to help with your confirmation using ATR and not to use it singularly and alone today.
Yeah, that's like, you never want to use any indicator on your own. It's like teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
You want a little friend group of indicators. But what's great about this is it does give you that opportunity to really adjust depending on what the market is, because not every type of trade is going to be the same. It's really going to depend on those markets, depending on how you're trading it. So shout out to Sharif for the lesson of the day. In just 6 minutes, we will get the 2-year note auction. So that'll be a notable event. So we're gonna have to, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. So we have to see how that goes. Took this, I want to shout out big Spal Burdette for you know, chatting me. He said, yeah, like with that Nvidia trade, it's basically, you know, like these kind of mean reversions are really important to be able to spot when you're trying to do this scalp trading. And so I really appreciate what you'd say there, Kyle. I took another one as well. We got below the 9 EMA, and I saw this on my side chart and I said, keep an eye on this, right? So I intentionally did not punch. I said, I'm gonna have an order set 123.40s, okay? I was like, if we get to 50s and reject, I will be aggressively punching here. So we get to 53s and I say, Adara, be patient. 52 was the level I liked last time. We get to 53s, we can't hold it. The second I see what I wanna see on the book, ready to go. Oh, didn't like that face I made. Okay. But then I took half out at 26s, took the rest out to see what we did in the book, got out at 24 14s, could have held it, 24 12s, look at that, 24 12s. 2 pennies better than I thought it, no, I'm joking. But yeah, I like scalping. I'm okay with the fact that I gave up that position. Obviously it would have been a lot stronger had I still been in it, but that's not the type of trader I am. So that I'm okay with that. And I also had this Nvidia trade, and I wanted to take this better because I had just taken an L on Tesla, and I put the L in Tesla with this trade, let me tell you. No, I'm joking, I just got involved way too early. I thought we were gonna break down here. We did have a rejection, a nice wick rejection of the 9 EMA, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a short. Got involved way too early, was a little bit too convicted to the idea. It was a small position, so it was all good there. I'd more than made up for that in that Nvidia trade, but the mental wasn't there, and that's the issue. Also, Novo Nordisk is coming interesting again. If it wants to lose a little bit of weight here, drop at this VWAP. Okay, actually, really, this is really enticing to me. Okay, we're gonna risk this we're gonna try to get involved at 60s, those are 59s. We're gonna risk into 80s, AKA that big old wick. I want 146.30s, so that is about, what is that, like 30 pennies risking 20? It is not the best risk to reward ratio in the world. We're gonna try that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see how I feel about this. I think it's a nice short. I love when I see wick rejections like this on VWAP. That's a really nice look to me. We're gonna have to see how this goes. I will, this is actually 25s. Okay, so minimum 35 pennies, and I'll save a piece for the dream if we break a little bit lower. The one thing I am cognizant of is the fact that we did hold that up, that support I mentioned earlier, 146.25s. I'm very cognizant of that, but I'm also cognizant of the fact that I like this look. John Del Senio telling me to check out the larger time frame on the Qs. We hit the left shoulder at 479.25 and dunked. Looks like dunked and looks like further. Let's take a look there. Okay, larger time frame. So I'm guessing, well, what, like on the daily chart?
What is that?
On the Qs. Okay. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying to, tell me what time frame here, John Del Senio. I want to make sure I'm seeing the right thing here. But I see what you mean. We struggled here earlier. 479 was a little bit of a drop down here. We're below the 9 EMA. I might actually have to trade this on the TQs because this is actually kind of a spicy look here for some wick shorts. I see what you mean. Either way, this 479, interesting look. We tried to go higher here on the 5 minute. We had a gorgeous topping tail candle at 479, and then we sold out. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. But also, if there's any tickers you're keeping an eye on, you guys know what to do. You go in the chat right now and you vote for them. Exclamation point, join. $, whatever ticker you like. CPOOP is not a ticker, Stash is not a ticker, but there are lots of tickers that do exist, and Sharif will be discussing them vigorously at the green screen as Sean and Neil tell you what trades they liked or didn't like on those names. Also, Novo Nordisk did not want me to hop. It did not want me to go V with it to the downside. So it's a little sad. It's all good. Ready for the next opportunity. That pun was weak sauce, but hopefully these trades won't be. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm in 2 trades. I'm trying a VWAP touch here on the NQ June contract. I'm taking on the TQQs. I'm out of the money at the moment. I'm not going to give this that much room. It's gonna, if it breaks 73.10, then I'm going to get out of there. But I'm just trying this VWAP dip. It's, you know, we're trying. I'm also long C-poop over here for a 2 defend. It did break 2, and there was definitely resistance at 2. It got well above 2, got to 219. So I said, all right, it's clear 2. It got to 219. Now, if it comes back into 2, does it use it as a level of support? That's kind of my theory here. We'll see if it pans out. I've got a beak wetter set up on the other side of 10s. Here come 10s right now. If we can get a move up into 11s, there we go. We get the print. Nice trade there. We'll see what we get, and we won't get upset. Shout out to Neil. Let's go back into the T-triple-Qs, right back into the money on this one. But this one is by no means, I would say that this is a low probability trade, but it's a high risk, high reward. But I'm not going to take it from like a high risk because I'm not going to give it too much room. It's high risk because you're trying to catch a falling knife. That's why I mean it's high risk, right? The future's on the way down, 19,968. Now we dip all the way down into 19.8s and stuff. So, you know, that's kind of how I see it there. Catching a falling knife, we'll see what we get. We'll see. I'm looking to print at 33s if it gives me that. So in both trades, de-risked at both right now. C-pop, trying to hold 2. I'd like something maybe at $0.25 for the remaining amount. If we don't get it, we don't get it. So keeping an eye on the future and keeping an eye on C-pop.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just like staring at Nvidia like a hungry little wolf here, trying to nibble on some profits. I got short Nvidia again, and we're gonna get out because we're scalping. Basically, what I did there was, I'm happy with this. I didn't think I'd get that much on this. Thank you. I wanted to see us stay below 124. We stayed below 124. I was good with that. It took like 25 pennies, and look, we're coming right back up here. This 80 area, 123.80, Nvidia wants to make you wait. I think for now, it looks like Nvidia is actually dipping lower. It's like, Dara, what are you talking about? I'm going to do what I want to do. Also, though, I was also looking at your TQ long. So I would have shoved that out. I was very curious about that TQ long because I thought it was going to, I mean, we know I'm always thinking short, but I wanted to see it reject the VWAP first, and I was going to take it long up to that. But yeah, we'll have to see here.
I'm not going to give it too much room, though.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I was just saying, like, I saw that because I was also looking at that, and then we know I'm bearish, so I took the Nvidia short instead. But yeah, so that's really all I'm looking at. How are we AM doing on AMD? Because that's a name I always like to look at here. I should have been shorting this every time we got the 90 MA rejection. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's see, though, what we do here at 158. 158 was a bit of a support area early with these gorgeous chef's kiss bounces here off the 90M or off of VWAP. Let's see what the auction is, because I just realized we could get our re-auction. And that could be fun to trade here. We have not gotten the auction numbers yet that I can see on my side. Let's see how this goes. Keep in mind, though, in just 1 hour and 10 minutes, we will get Fed's Bowman, who can be a little bit hawkish. So let's see what happens there. And then you'll also get to have that green screen segment as well in about 1 hour, so you have 50 more minutes left to vote. Novo Nordisk back to 60s. I canceled my order because I really didn't think I was going to get it. Now that we're back at 60s, I'm going to wait and see what we do here. If we pop up here, I actually think we could go long. I'm going to pull up the chart to see, so you guys can see what I'm kind of looking at here. So look at this. This is kind of a bullish candle to me. We had that wick down here into 40s, then we whoop, right back up. I think Novo Nordisk, especially because we had that previous support at 146.25 a couple times now, I think this could move up here. I am not married to either idea. I want to take this if something sets up, but I don't want to make assumptions about what that setup will be. That being said, heads or tails, if I had to like flip a coin here, I would go short. I still think the short case is setting up, so I'm going to put my order back in here. 59s, not a massive position, but enough that I'm able to piece out. Like I said, risking here just below 80s, and then I want to make minimum 146.25.
All right, baby. I did get stopped out of that T-triple-Qs, so sucks to be me. It did break that level, and I was not going to give it too much room, guys. I just can't. It's not at that level where it's like, you know, this is a clear area where it could bounce. I took a shot and I missed, so we'll see what we get there. I'm back in to C-pop again. I covered for the long. Here we go again. I'm long again at 199s, looking at 2 and nice. So trading this one off the 10 exponential, it dips right into that 10 exponential. We get it again. So I'm happy with this one. We'll see if we can get a little bit more. Maybe I'll size up on this one a little bit more. I'd like some sort of breakout rather than trying to trade this one off the moving averages, but it's continuing to give us rewards here. So we'll look for possible 220 break. I'm going to try to hold it for a 220 break here. And I didn't plan this, but I feel like with this one, because it is stair-stepping up, I can possibly add on the dips, especially if it's off like the 10 exponential, which we can see here. It's quite respected ever since that 12:15 candle about an hour ago. It's been basically all the closing prints have been north of that 10 exponential. So we'll see if that trend continues or what the deal is. NNE. Okay, well, this one's been really good in terms of giving you a notional move, but really hard in terms of actually trading. The spread is really wide. The dollar amounts are quite, lofty in terms of how it's moving. It's moving dollars at a time. In addition to that, like there has been this, I don't know, this is like mystery area of how to get in. It looks like 32.5 seems to be an interesting support area, but then you have these wicks that drop like $1.50 below it. How can I manage risk there? So tough to trade this one, but looks really good on the chart. Just not really sure how to weasel my way in. So we'll keep that one definitely on the side chart, guys. Scott Edwards, GRDI is flying. Worth a look. Not again. No, you don't say. Let's load up GRDI. Who are we going to take off here? We're going to take off MLGO. GRDI. Whoa, what is happening? Okay, so GRDI up to the high side. And there it is, guys. Well, it's not halted yet, but what a squeeze through that $1.75. I guess it was accumulating. I'm not sure what the hell happened here, but this one absolutely shot up. I don't have anything on my blotter from the afternoon, but obviously we know GRDI is a multi-day play. Here is the 10-minute look. Let me show you the 10 minutes because it has been running the last little while. It started on the 20th. The 20th really has, it really jumped off there from a penny stock and 50 some odd pennies. Now it got up to 2 1/5, almost 2 1/4. So good luck here for GRDI, but be careful with the mean reversion on this one. There it is, coming back down. Keep your eye out on 2. 2 could be an interesting bounce area here. The volume, though, picking up big on GRDI. This is the 30-second chart. You don't want the 30-second chart. That's 2 micro. So keep your eye on $2 for that whole dollar supported there.
Yeah, I had a couple scalps here. Scalped Nvidia short, scalped AMD short. Nvidia, thank you, I appreciate that. Nvidia, I got short here because I was watching to see what we were doing in the book. I was really just gonna risk this into like 40s or like 15 pennies. Happy I got it where I did because we're bouncing. Oh, I'm so proud. Okay, sometimes you're more proud like when you get out of a trade than how you traded it, right? Like I took profit on this. I cannot be too upset. Please just punch. Yeah. Got involved here. I saw that we were kind of having a little bit of a waffle. We had this nice failure. This might have been on maybe more of a dark pool basis, but either way, I liked what I was seeing in the book. I said, Adara, see if we try to touch 40s. If we don't get anywhere near 40s, you can go short. We got to 33s, had my order for 26s, bloop. Got out at 123.10, so pretty happy with that. Took about 16 pennies, risked about 15 pennies. Also, Kyle Burdett has a stock recommendations for you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much to the $5 super chat, though, from Big Kyle Burdett. Also, AMD, happy with this short as well. I took this because, like I said, I was actually thinking we could have had a long off that support. When I realized that didn't hold up, I flipped my idea to the short. I was going to give this 20s, got involved at 12s, got out at 157.90s, 157.90s. So please just punch with that. Really happy right now. I feel like my better days are usually the days where I have a few more fills because as a scalper, you want to be able to get in and out kind of ninja-like.
Yeah,
So
yep.
Good amount of fills today. Please just punch. AMD, if you want to keep failing at 158, I shall take you short again. But also, we should probably get that list of the day started soon. I know we just did it, so I'm going to wait a little bit longer here. But I just want to, shout out to everyone for being here. I'm so happy to be here. What is everyone else looking at here?
Donald John Trump is moving.
DJT. Also, we had the auction news, guys. Like I said, we hadn't seen it come in yet. I'm not seeing a massive reaction, though. Tesla had a little bit of a move down, but I'm not really seeing any other stock with that move down. Tesla, not Tesla, the 2-year note auction, a little bit lower here than previous, 4.706% versus 4.917% previous, so a little bit lower than expected. What are you
Yeah, I'm looking at DJT right now as it works its way back into that local high at 35 1/5. The volume weighted average price is 35 1/3-ish general. I have a dip trade set up in front of 35 to pick up a better price than we are right now. The spread is decent. It's about 5 or 6 pennies. Let's see if we get filled here. I'm seeing 06s show up on the bid. I'm sitting at 05s. This could be a double top on a rejection. It's a risk. And DJT, I didn't do well on it yesterday. So are we long yet? Yes, we are. We're long 35.06. So we're going to stop out at 88. So we'll have to do that. There we go. So the stop is in place. Now let's set up the beak wetter. We'll set up possibly at 35 and a quarter. There, we'll see what we get. It's going to have to be a 35 defend, though, quite frankly, if it breaks through 35 to the downside. And there is resistance here. I'm very well aware of that, the double top. And I also see VWAP as well. But it put in a higher low, and it started curling back up. Maybe I'm late to the party. We're going to find out. It's not going to cost me too much money to find out here, as we're going to get stopped out at 88. So that is the look for DJT. I'm continuing to keep my eye on C-Poop, though, because this one is continuing to bounce up with higher lows, right? So I scalp, I get in, I get out, but this one, the higher lows, it looks like it's in play at the moment. We'll see if we can definitely weasel our way in, maybe at that $1.95 in and around that area. But really, the one that I really want to focus on is Donald John Trump at these levels, because I'd like to print at around VWAP here. But right now, we're fighting at 35, a little bit above, a little bit below. DJT recovering a little bit here from the not shellacking, definitely, off the highs, no question about that, but recovering off the lows at that 33.50 double bottom that we put in. Again, you know, no real headline today for DJT, but just kind of expecting volatility as we get closer to Thursday, and that's when the presidential debate is. The earliest presidential debate in history, apparently. That's what they're saying.
That kind of early.
It is, yeah. So that's the look there. Tam Panda, you need to put your stop below the low of the most recent breakout candle, or you always get stopped. Always? Really? You don't say. No, I do realize what you're saying. I know about the higher lows and the lower highs. We have risk management on the floor here. Can't always do that. I'd like to be able to, though.
Yeah, so basically, I'm really proud of myself for this Nvidia because I wanted to take this short. We were at that area. It looked like it was going to work out for a bit. I took it short 123.68. That's where I took the short 123.68. I said I'll risk. I'll see what we do at 80s, then I'll get out at 85s. We got out at 85s because we broke above 85s. Happy I got it where I did because now it would have been like it's already bumped like 30 pennies. I tried to flip to the long, and Nvidia said no. No, thank you. And I said, that's okay, Nvidia. Live your life. If you reject the 90 MA, I will short you again. So let's see. It looks like it really wants to hold 124 right now. Like I said, I'm okay with continuously scalping this. That is going to be the play on this stock. I'm really happy. Like I said, yesterday was a rougher day for me. And I think it was a rougher day for me because I was trying too hard to be, I think, what I thought my version of positive was supposed to be. But like I said, I think I'm an optimistic person. And I think I am also the most optimistic when I have stuff working against me. I want to shout out the Freedom and Wealth podcast because I don't think this most recent week, but the week before, Sean and Brendan were talking about how sometimes you're able to perform the best when you have everything against you, when you have nothing to lose. You just have to go for stuff. That is absolutely, I think, the way that I trade the most successfully. And I found that yesterday when I was struggling. I just had to take trades. I could only take trades I really, really, really felt passionate about and that type of risk, and that's the type of trading I'm trying to do today. So I really want to shout out that podcast because I think it's just a really important mindset to have. Nvidia does not want to get above 124.12. If it does not want to get above 124.12, I like to short this, but I really want to make sure I have a risk management area I like. What is this? The 30s? I'll take 30s. I'm okay with that. We're going to get involved here. If we bounce off 124s, I'll just get out where I am. That's fine. But this is an area I like, and I want to be able to take this at least into 80s if we break below that 124. Yes. Okay, Nvidia. We're going to de-risk some at 124. I'll take a couple pennies. I'm okay with that. And then I want to see this get a little bit lower. So yeah, like that'll be 8 pennies if I get that part of the position. That's okay. I'm fully aware this can work against me. I think we are arguably going to bounce here. But like I said, I like that 30s base earlier, these kind of wicks, or this is 25. Okay, 25 then. Those wicks there, I really like this area. Like I said, if I want to scalp, I definitely want to be doing that scalping. So let's see what we have. Basically, again, the impetus for this was A, we're below the 90 MA, and B, I am seeing lower highs on the book. So that's the type of look that I would like to have. What else is going on here right now? NQ, easy money today, just trade the range, says Don Cotton. Yeah, the Qs have been a little spicy, a spicy little number today. This is interesting. If we're getting near that VWAP and the 90 MA. Of course, these levels aren't going to matter necessarily as much in the futures, but that could certainly be an interesting area. Nvidia, a couple pennies out of the money on NVDA. Let's see how this goes right now. I do have that first peak water set at 124, and then I want to see if we can break any lower. If we can't break below 124, that's fine. I'm okay with taking everything at 124, but we just got that break a little bit lower. Tesla also getting deeply spicy here with these little dojis hanging out here, trying to push a little bit higher. Clear support on a wick basis at 184.80. That is a a very random level, but it's the level Tesla chose to wick to, so I have to respect that. Respect law for Tesla. Even if it doesn't respect law you have to respect law it. So let's see how this goes here. Nvidia below that 124, get low, low, low. Like I said, I really want to see what we do at 80s. That was an area I liked earlier, but you know what, Nvidia, if you're not going to get that much lower, that's okay. I'll take you in at 95s, and I'll be pleased as punch. How are you doing?
Not printing.
Nice.
Hey, Tam Panda. Oh. Well, maybe I should have. Yeah, probably better. Yeah, nice try, Fabian. Anyway, in the money here on Donald John Trump as it breaks through the volume-weighted average price, nicely in the money here. First beak wetter out, waiting for. Let's see exactly what we're gonna get here. That 36 level looks pretty good. There is some price action around 36 at around 10:30 or so. Here it is, and there it is. That's the end of the trade there on Donald John Trump. Shout out to DJT.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, well, whatever. We'll shout out DJT. All good.
Shout out both of you.
So nice little winner there, almost $1 there at the top of there as it breaks through 36.05. Nice move there for Donald John Trump. Higher low on that double bottom is what I liked there. And then we got into that $35 area, which was interesting because we definitely topped out there earlier. So I said to myself, look, you know, if we dance at this area, what's going to happen? You're either going to reject, you're going to have a double top at 35, 35 and a quarter, and then you get stopped out for a 12 penny loser through the break of 35 again, or you run. So we let it run. Now let's see where Donald John Trump can go. The IB high. The IB high takes us to 37.60, thereabouts. So that's interesting there. So we'll have to keep an eye on that 37.60. That IB high also is the high of the day. So that was the highest print that we got. We definitely got higher there in the pre. The pre took us all the way into that 38.50, but on much, much lighter volume. I'm talking about, well, that's not that bad. 26,000 shares at 5:45 a.m. That's not too bad. So we'll see. If 36 can clear, we'll definitely look for a squeeze into the IB high, but I'm looking for possible resistance here at 36 owing to these closing prints that we put in at 10, 10.15, and 10, all the way to essentially 10.25. 36 seemed to be a level. However, when I do look at it a bit further, it may not have been that 36 level. It may have been the volume-weighted average price, because that's where it kept closing below. That white line, I know it's obscured by some of the other lines there that are interweaving with it, but it kept closing below VWAP. And on this break here, you get a decided breakthrough VWAP. So we'll see what Donald John Trump can provide us rest on the day for some longs here. So that's the look. Let's flip back now into the large cap world. Let's see what's going on over here. Looks like the Zon got a double bottom at 187. Didn't see that coming. Well, did we? No, it's a 200 period on the 5, not one that I used, to be quite honest with you. Up above the volume-weighted average price again, looking to break through that 187 3/4 on a closing basis, having trouble with it at the moment. The dead one is dead again. So look at this today. This is what I meant by the dead one. Obviously, looking at it yesterday, it wasn't dead. That's a V-shape. That's a Christmas tree retracement. But today, it's awfully dead. And it's a great range trade for all my range traders out there. 209 and a half generally. The bottom end of the range, it doesn't come into that level all that much. But if you're able to get that price, you've done well. 185 right now on TSLA. A little bit above, a little bit below. This 185 level is the top end in the pre. I talked about this level earlier because it held us from going down any further right over here when we dipped into 185 after that big move into 187. We came back into that 185 area and held it. That was the pre-market top. We're dancing there again right now. This time, though, south of the volume-weighted average price. Last time we were at that level, we were above VWAP. A little bit of a different story now. Goggles getting another move back up. Great look here today for Google as it prints new all-time highs. Hey, Brendo, Google printed more all-time highs today, by the way, huh? Yeah, so don't sell. Yeah. Anyway, what else is moving here?
Sean's trying to away with some money in his little wheelbarrow.
What's going on over there, Katina Man? Well, we know that. The Katina Man wants me to let you know that Goggles is the #1 holding in his account. And we know that because he's been saying that for a long time. So that's not in dispute. Yeah. What's going on there?
In case you ever thought it was in dispute, it is not. Also, you know why we call Apple the dead one? Because that chart we have today is flatlining. Also, it is. Like, literally, that's what we mean when we call it the dead one, because it's doing a whole lot of nothing. Like I said, I will never forget that day. It was Obi and I on, because Sharif was in the safari, and he came back, and it literally was like, by the way, I have to tell you this, because there was a day I was in this Apple trade, and the thing did not move more than 5 cents in either direction. I was in it for half an hour. That is what we mean when we call it the dead one, because that really is what it used to do. AMD, I am not necessarily proud of that. We're not putting the M for management here in that AMD trade just now, let me tell you. Basically, though, I was really wanting to see what we did. I like this as a short here if we stay below 158.40. And then we popped above 2. I should have managed this better. It's all good. Out of the money on AMD, but I am pleased as punch to say that's my only negative name.
Nice.
Flat on IWM, up on Tesla, up on Nvidia, and always up on positivity, ready to make some more trades. And I think it's just I should have been doing more scalping, because the scalps were the trades that were doing the best here. This AMD was a little bit more wishy-washy, so I should have approached it with that. But you know what we're going, if you guys have any tickers you want to approach, and you want to see how everybody else approaches them, go in the chat right now. Exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you fancy. Nvidia, AMD, CPOP, NNE, let's give those small cappers some love.
Yay.
MLGO, AMC, GME, Meta, Amazon, Google, Apple. I don't know, you guys know tickers. Go in there, put them in the chat.
I thought for sure you were going to say C-poop. I was so excited for the C-poop there, but it's all good.
Yeah, he was feeling whimsical today, so he had to call it. Yeah, that's what he was saying.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, Neil, get that in the chat. Shout out to Neil Roberts, baby. He knows what's good. All right, what are we doing here, Dara? Let's get back in the groove of things here, and let's look at what the Mag 7 are doing. Oh, I missed this completely here. A double. How many touches at the volume weighted average price are we going to get on Softy before I realize it's a level off which to take a trade? That's a miss by me. That's a big, big miss there. I should have been way more alive to that, especially when you have these umpteen amount of bottoming tail candles. Bottoming tail candles in successive fashion typically show you that there's buyer exuberance at that level. So you get one bottoming tail candle followed by another, followed by another. It means that it doesn't have to be the same buyer, but buyers are buying in at that level. So that by itself is bullish. Then you add to that it's bouncing off the volume weighted average price, and that's another check mark beside the analysis to go long. So I missed that one. 448.75 on MSFT. Looked really good. It was bouncing from 1245 to 105. So kept every 5-minute candle there, bounced off the volume weighted average price. I missed that one. But to be quite honest with you, Microsoft here looks like a bit of a range. The ranges aren't strict in like the penny sense, but look at this. 450 to the high side. You had multiple rejections earlier on, 1030 to 1040 at that 450 area. Then you got there again at around noon. You did break it, but look at the closing print. Again, right at or south of 450. So it's either, you short off 450, at least it seems on the day, or you're getting long near that VWAP area. So that's my look on Softy. And if it comes into one of those levels again, I'm going to see if I can weasel my way into this trade, because it's kind of a bit of a range. Apple, Microsoft look very similar in their chart patterns in the way that Meta and Amazon and Google look very similar in theirs. Tesla, as it always is, seems to be a bit of an outlier. Yeah, that's my look there. Let's flip back to some small cap gappers. What's Donald John Trump up to? All right, so did have trouble with 36. So I was kind of accurate in that regard. These topping till candles weren't just as a result of the volume weighted average price, but it looks as if it was a price action level. So I'm happy I covered my Donald John Trump right into that 36 area. Now we're going to have to figure out how we're going to trade this. Are we going to wait for another VWAP retracement at 35 1/3? Or what are we doing here? So I'm going to analyze here DJT, see if I can weasel my way back into this trade, Adara.
Yeah, so Tesla, I was just like, I'm built into a position. I was like, I want to basically scalp it as we break below 185. If we get decisively below 185.20s, I'll get out. We're sitting all pretty, 185.15s. Tesla pops to 185.30 viciously. I'm like, excuse me, Tesla, you did not tell me this. Got it at 185.25. It was a bit of a bigger position, so little tiny paper cut. But you know what you do to paper cuts? You put a Band-Aid and you keep on trading. Let's keep going here, finding these opportunities. I will admit, I definitely, I know you say sometimes that, you're a little bit too frugal. I feel like I will either be too frugal or be way too aggressive. I get way too aggressive with my entries. I need to find a happy little medium there. Maybe with time, sitting on this desk, the two of us will find some way to combine these trading styles. I don't know. But shout out to everyone in this chat. Someone wanted to know why we're not talking about Meta. I think it was Elite Class.
Sorry.
Why are we not talking about Meta? It finally hit resistance at 505. Honestly, yeah, this is an interesting look, and now we're actually finding 505 hold a support on the intraday. And I have to say, for me, I think Meta, a more interesting level for me is going to be this 506.50. Why?
Bang.
Look where we had that little trough earlier. Look where we rejected a wick basis at the 90 MA and VWAP. 506.50. I'm gonna unpush back now. Yeah, no, Sharif always knows that the pushback is when I see something that I really, really enjoy. This is a great look on Meta. Thank you, Elite Class Inc. Hopefully your class is elite and incorporated. So great look there. Also, you know what I think is support of Meta? I honestly think Meta looks nice, at least not advice just by taking the chart. 495 support on Meta. To me, that's the level.
Bang.
Look at, we wicked above it. That looked really bearish, and yet we didn't break down from it. I like 495 Meta. Again, not advice, just my take on the chart. And to me, the chart has shown you that a couple times now. Shout out to Danielle Shea, who I know is also long Meta. Her price targets on Meta are 520 and 530. And you can check her out on the market recap on Thursday nights. And also, I know sometimes she's on during the normal show. Yeah, I think we're going to get that lesson one more time here. What are you looking at over here?
Yeah. I was talking to Tam Panda there in the chat. He was asking my look on Donald John Trump. So I was telling him what... I was telling him that I'm long bias at the moment, and there's a reason for that. The reason I'm long bias is it's taken VWAP on an intraday basis. It's had trouble with VWAP, since the opening print. In fact, all the closing prints until this one over here, right at 110, were south of the volume weighted average price, and now we're above it. So now how do I use it? Do I want to base trades off VWAP, or am I still sticking to those price action levels in the way that I did with my out? I felt there was resistance at 36 owing to these topping tail candles. At that level, topping tail candles echo the bottoming tail candles, but in the contra positive. So you have sellers pushing buyers down at that level in the other way that you have buyers pushing sellers up when you have bottoming tail candles. So they kind of just switch in their application. So I said to myself, 36 was a level. Now, where do I like it as support? Well, we have VWAP, and we do have respect for VWAP on the day, not on a wick basis, but on a closing print basis. No question about that. So do I base something at 35.40 where VWAP is hanging out, 35.5, try to front run the area there? I don't know. That's not really my play. I'd rather it, start a trend and then for me to get back, to get in on a pullback, like a 10-period exponential pullback, a 20-period exponential pullback, something there, rather than just saying willy-nilly, broke through this white line and I'm going to take it long off that white line now, even though that white line does obviously have significance on the day. I don't mean to belittle VWAP, obviously, but I'm just trying to make the point. I'm worried about VWAP's feelings.
I was going to say,
right?
VWAP is really sensitive, Sharif. I don't think you should.
Look, Adara, we live in a very politically correct, environment. I gotta be careful. Right?
Just be nice to VWAP.
It's a joke, right? Guys, don't please. I'm not actually being serious. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to get back in on this, but I really like DJT for the rest of the week, just owing to the catalyst that we have coming up on Thursday. I think it remains active, and it's definitely getting a bit of a bounce after that monster sell-off that we had in May.
Yeah, that was quite the sell-off in May for DJT. Oh, yeah. That one, really weak, and then it was no, I will not stop, and it pushed back up there. DJT, so there's also Sharif, who had that great DJT trade earlier.
Appreciate
with not one, but two little beak wetters, so lots of ducks happy there with that trade. Also, though, we're going to talk about ATR, average, true, range. So we're going to ditch that one-size-fits-all approach for profit targets. Today, we're going to discuss average, true, range, and how it can help you set realistic, which is always the key goal for intraday trading and sometimes feels kind of elusive. How do you set realistic profit targets, right? So here's the problem with fixed targets. And this is something I feel like I struggle with a lot as well as someone who's scalping, because sometimes your read in the situation is going to change, right? So that's the issue with fixed targets, is things in an intraday situation can be very malleable. They can move with the viciousness, with the swiftness, and things change. So imagine you set a daily profit goal of $100. That seems really great. But what if you've got a calmer market, or really calm market, which makes it a little bit harder to get $100. Or you've got a super volatile market, so you could be like trying to get 1,000. Why are you here with your $100 profit target when you can make a cool 1,000? That would be a great look, right? So fixed targets can leave you a little bit more frustrated, or they can tempt you to overtrade to reach them, right? So no one wants that. But how do you find a solution through ATR? Enter the ATR. It's going to be your intraday volatility meter. So this is how you use it for a little bit more realistic targets. How, may you ask? Let me tell you. Well, first, you're going to want to calculate your target. So instead of a fixed number, create a dynamic target that adjusts to daily volatility. Here's a simple formula. For your long target, get your entry price plus your ATR multiplied by a factor. So for example, like 1 or 2, depending on the volatility and that type of thing. So you're short, you're going to do your entry price minus your ATR multiplied by a factor. So the factor you choose is going to depend on your risk, tolerance, and strategy. A higher factor aims for larger but less frequent profits. So if you really want those big multiple dollar winners, and you want them less frequently, that's maybe you'll use a higher multiplier.
Bang.
If you want a little bit less, maybe you want a smaller, more frequent game. Maybe you're like me, you want to scalp it for 2 seconds. Maybe you want a little bit of a lower multiplier. So I think that's really cool. This is something I want to look more into here. So let's take an example in action. Let's say you buy a stock at $50. The ATR out or draft. What stock's near $50? DraftKings? I don't know. Just a random example. Whatever stock you make up. Let's say you buy your stock at $50 and the ATR is $3. So you decide to use a factor of $1 for a moderate target. So 50 plus 1 times 3 is going to be a $53 target. That is your target if you go long, you're buying and selling aiming for a price increase, and you want to have smaller gains and more frequent gains. So that's why you use your 1 factor, in case you forgot about that part. Now, and for a short target, you do 50 minus the 3 times 1. So you'd be looking for a 47 target for your short. Volatility or volatility, shout out to a certain company doing very well today, is also going to matter. So imagine you've got another day and the ATR for the same stock is only $1. You got your long target, $1 times 1 equals 51. So again, you want your lower target. There's lower volatility, so you're reflecting a calmer market, whether big price swings are less likely. Also, yeah, I just saw that super tight from Ian Rispetto. Yeah, sell it.
I loaded it up, yeah.
That'll be exciting. But we're just gonna finish that lesson quickly. So here's some of the benefits of ATR-based targets. They're more realistic expectations because you're setting targets based on what the market can do, not based on what you want. You're based on what's more realistic for the market. That which is huge. And adaptability is also going to matter because your target's going to adjust to the winds of change, as a certain mustachioed individual to my right sometimes says. Oh, look, there he is.
What did I do, Ram?
His winds of change. Because she always says, what I do. That was a subtle Ramin reference there to anyone who would not get that, understandably. But yeah, so adaptability, you're adjusting to the changing volatility, and it allows you to capitalize on opportunities in different market conditions, because one of the best things about the market is the conditions different every day. Bang. Last but not least, risk management. Since targets are based on volatility, they can help you avoid overextending yourself in a volatile market. But you must remember,
Bang.
ATR is historical. It's not a guarantee. It's just a little tool, like all the little tools in your arsenal that we have when we're trading.
Hey.
Last but not, yeah, that was a shout out.
I like that.
And last but not least, you also want to combine targets with other analysis for confirmation before entering or exit. But you can always adjust your target factor as you gain experience. I'm pretty new, so I would probably do like a 1. Plus, I like more frequent targets. It suits my trading style. Sean might have a larger ATR. I don't mean to call him out, but someone who likes those larger moves, those big money.
You mean these?
Yeah, he wants the dollar club. Right? If I get a 10-cent club, I'm pleased as punch, right?
Yeah,
so
same.
be aware of the type of, our dime club. Yeah. Be aware of the type of trader you are, and be aware of the styles you're looking for, and that will be super helpful. To quote Alex Diaz in the chat, what a day.
Adara, there's a couple of things I want to talk about here.
Hi, Sean.
Hey, Katina, man, what's going on over there?
I just want to say, all right, the Dollar Club, sure, thank you for that credit. But also, Adara, maybe you haven't been here long enough, but we are the king of dimes. We love taking those dime pieces all the time on the show, so don't worry about taking dimes. I think you got to take more than a dime on Nvidia, but to each their own on that one.
You just got diamond, Katina, man. Look
What
at
happened?
the screen.
Diamond!
Oh,
Just got
diamonds!
diamond, Katina, man.
Jamie Diamond!
Wow, we're stepping it up. But I'm just based on what me and Kevin talked about, I'm going to go try to see if I can get like Wonder Bread and Wonder Bra and all that kind of stuff. All going. How fun was that?
That was great.
was
Have
awesome.
Kevin O'Leary
And I
on.
like the way that you two vibe. And you guys have always
yeah?
had good chemistry. I've
Wow, I
seen you on
appreciate
with
that.
him before.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And by the way, just to set the record straight, I went over there and looked at the watch. I touched his watch, all that kind of stuff.
Oh.
The puzzle watch. I never heard of it, but
much
it
did
was
he
really
drop
nice
on
to
that?
see, and it was pretty cool.
Did he give you the figure on the cost?
No, I didn't. I didn't ask him about that.
He has insurance. Sure, Ram. I would too.
I asked him.
Sure.
He's off. He's going up north. It's really nice to be able to do that, and that is part of having that freedom and that
He's
wealth.
going Muskoka.
You actually mentioned also about HUD 8 going crazy today. WonderFi also
You see that Katina
to the
made
upside.
18% in the clear.
I used to have some HUD 8, but I might go for a little bit of a walk. It was starting to rain a little bit here.
Are we going to get a walk and talk though?
I don't know. I got fade. You see that fade?
People want walk and talks.
They want the walk and talk. Do the people want the walk and talk?
I think so.
They do?
Yeah, I don't know.
I personally want the
I
walk
like
and
it.
talk.
By the way, France and Poland were tied.
Oh,
0-0 at half.
Yeah,
so.
France is really underperforming this
Yeah.
year. Really underperforming. I'm not impressed
All right.
with them at all.
Peace.
So we're gonna have to look at the scores. Thank you for reminding me about that, Sean. Katina Man, midday guest, baby. You never know who's gonna pop up on the midday. So France winning 1-0 now in the 74th minute over Poland. Who scored for France, you ask? Kylian Mbappe, the world's best player, off a penalty kick, though, Adara, but we're not going to, remove any importance from that. Giroud is on as well on the 61st minute, so keep an eye out for those headers. Netherlands, oh no, Netherlands, Hollanda, you're going to get eliminated here because 2-1 Austria right now in the 73rd. Who scored? Gakpo scored for the Netherlands, and they had also an own goal. And then Schmidt scored as well for Austria. Not like I know who that is. But yeah, 2-1 right now. Great games. Let me go into this here, Ram. Shout out to Ian Rispetto for the super chat while Adair was dropping hot lines. I got to tell you something, Ian. I'm a little worried here about Celsius. Number one, it was on the downgrades list today.
It was a price target decrease. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Adara. Yes, it was number one on the downgrades list. Let me just double check that to make sure I'm accurate.
I believe so. I saw something negative.
Yeah,
about it.
so did I. I know I saw it for sure. I can't find it at the moment, but I did. Oh, there it is. By Truist, it's a hold and a price target of $60. So currently, we're obviously trading below where Truist has their price target. Now, the other thing, Ian, is this really concerns me. This crest over here at $67, $68, right? That was an obvious area crest, and it was like a local high. That is obviously until this earnings date back on February 29th when we shot up. We got to about $100, double top at $100, Ian. But look at this. There's the M. There's the middle part of the M, the double top. Look where it holds up, Ian, right at that same area that we had. So now we're breaking down below that area. So now we don't have an area of support until we get to $50. Personally, I would wait till $50 if it comes in. You may want to front run it by a dollar or two if you're holding this for a swing or if you're holding this for a long-term account. But $68 was a level of support. Previously resistance, we've broken that decidedly. In my humble opinion, I would wait for that 50 area bottom. Look at the amount of churn you had at 50, Ian. So if you drop into that $50, I see it as a really good chance you bounce off that area. So much do I like that. I'm putting an alert, man. I like this area. Thank you for pointing it out. I'm going to put it at 5150. And I'm going to put a little note here because I'm probably going to forget why I put the alert. Major area support at 50. Look for long. I like this area. Thank you for bringing it to my attention, Ian. I didn't have eyes on this. But yeah, that 68 area goes, and it's a very key technical level. I would say to you, the next area technical level is $50, come what may.
Yeah, Celsius can be spicy intraday. I trade that one occasionally if there's like a catalyst, but the spread, it can be very spready. It's almost meta levels. Right now, I'm trying to take Tesla long. You might be like, really, Dara? Yeah, I'm trying to take it long. I don't think I'm getting filled at all, but it was an attempt. But yeah, I have to say, I know I said I was up in Nvidia, now down in Nvidia, but I have to say I'm really happy with both these trades. I tried to take the long because we had that nice 90 MA bounce there, got involved too early. Then I tried to take the short. We wicked below. I was not quick enough with it. We got back above the 30s. I got back out. Now it's coming back to 124.80. Now you guys know Maybe you don't. That was the level I was obsessed with earlier, that 124.80. There's been a lot of opportunities here. If we can't hold this, that is where the real scalping begins. I should have been more patient waiting for this level to begin with. That's okay. I'm willing to take that L. But I have to say, trying to take less L's, make more M's. Really proud of the trading though I've been doing, because pretty much every trade I took with lots of confidence, lots of confidence, and because I believed in them. Right now, we got that rejection I wanted to see. We're getting involved here. If we break decisively above the 80s, I'll get out. That's fine. I want to scalp this into 40s. That is the goal. So we're looking for about 30 pennies, risking about 10 to 15. That is a type of risk-reward ratio I can certainly live in. I want to shout out all the support in the chat. I'm so happy to be here, trying to become a more confident trader every single day, because I love to be here, but you also want to make money as well. You want to grow. Oh, yeah. And so I think, like I said, down of the day, but man, I feel today's been a turning point for me. Have taken 105 fills so far, which maybe it might be a record. This has been a lot, really just trying to learn and get more comfortable with my scalping. You know what? We're gonna de-risk some here, 10 pennies in the money with those dime clubs. Shout out to Sean for validating the dime club. And you know what? If we get back to 70s, I'll add, but I would love to see us break a little bit lower here. I think I can get my 40s, but I did want to take a little bit of profit for the road.
Do you remember the scores that I just said for the games, Adara? Well, I'll remind you, 1-0 France, 2-1 Austria. Completely different. 1-1, 2-2. Beautiful. I love soccer.
So
yes. Robert Lewandowski, obviously the prolific scorer from Barcelona, scoring now for Poland. It is tied now 1-1 with France. So keep your eye out there. Lewandowski scoring in the 79th minute. We're now 79-25. I'm so excited. This is the last stage or last game of the group stages, guys. So they're all being played at the same time to avoid match fixing. So nice move there. Obviously the Dutch scored as well. I think it was Memphis Depay that scored for them. Yes, it was Depay.
That's a great name, Memphis.
Oh yeah, and he's a sick player too. Kind of hot and cold, but Memphis Depay from Werghorst as well, assisting there. So great look. We'll keep you guys updated on the scores. But RGS, we were talking about this one earlier, and this one was a bit of a bamboozler, I gotta say, because I really couldn't weasel my way into this trade. The range was just too wild. I didn't have a good read on it. I think the best entry for me would have been at VWAP at around 1220. That was around right here when it came into the volume weighted average price, but I didn't get in there. Now it seems to be doing a bit of an area support off the 20 exponential on the 5. And I'm talking about this yellow line right here. Ever since it really got into that $23 area and then halted down, you can see the wicks that definitely break through the 20 exponential, but I feel like the 20 exponential being respected here. It could also be the 17 1/3, 17 1/2 double top that we put in at 11.25 and 11.30. You break that level, you come back to it, and you use it as support. That could also be the case there. Great look as it curls back up through 20 1/2 now. This one wants to go into that halt level. Keep your eye out on that up halt level. We up halted just a skosh below 21. 20 high 80s. We're there. We're very close right now. It could be an area of resistance. Not saying it will be, but I always, when I traded these small cap gappers a lot more, I would always chart the areas of the halt. 4 areas of support and resistance. Sometimes they came in, sometimes they didn't. It pays to chart them. Right now, we got a break of 21. We got all the way into 21, not a break of 21. So definitely having trouble with that area resistance level, at least for the moment. But if I take a guess, I think this one probably trails up, maybe to test those highs at 23. Great day today for RGS, and it just occurred to me that I didn't give you any of the details on this. Obviously, it's up a lot higher than where it was, so it started the day up at $5. The high of the day is 23. So the market cap I'm going to give you is going to reflect the current price ascension, which is about $45 million. Yeah, not bad. 37 million shares traded on the day, and the float, a cool, a light, a soft, 1.99 million shares, just south of 2 million Adara. And so definitely on the smaller side there. What is the short float though? Another good question, RGL. Shout out to the NOS boss and his crew. If you like this software I'm using right here, use TraderTv.live for 20% off trade ideas. 3.81% of the 2 million shares is shorted. So Yeah, definitely not negligible, but nothing really to write home about. 21, still an elusive target right now on RGS. Can't break through it on a closing basis.
Yeah, and I mean, like, shout out to Sharif for the awesome small cap analysis, but if you want even more small cap analysis or analysis of any of those tickers you like, you only got 8 minutes, guys. It's like the length of like a random YouTube video, maybe. I don't know. But you have a very short amount of time. Go in the chat right now. Exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever tickers you're fancy. AMD, Nvidia, Amazon, AMC. I don't know. You guys know tickers. Go in there. Pick your favorites. You have 1 vote per day. And you have another 7 minutes now to get that vote, that segment, which is our new audience segment, which we're so pleased as punch about. That will be kicking off in just 18 or 17 minutes now. Shout out to that. Also, shout out to Tesla. I got short here. Like I said, I wanted to take that long up into that 90 MA rejection or VWAP. Wasn't able to get the long. I liked that we had, though, we kind of wicked up into this 185.20 and then rejected. I like this look. Basically flat on this position. We are waffling, in a word. If we break above this basically the top of this week here, that 185.30, I'll get out. But I think we could push lower here on the short. I have a beak wetter set, 60% of the position, 184, mid-90s. That's going to be the profit take target for now, and then I want to keep a piece for the dream. We're holding this support really well, mind you, but we have lower highs. I don't want to say flat bottom break, but I want to play it as though that is the option. So I want to take that look. That is something I like. Also, I'm very proud of what I did with the Nvidia short. Like I said, I wanted lower, but while I was in it, I did not like what we were doing. Got out half at 158. 124.58, got the other half 154, 124.62. Happy I got it where I did though, because we're breaking higher into 125s. Please just punch with that. Like I said, a little bit down in the day here, but man, did we have a good time and we learned so much. And that's why I'm always honest about my P&L, or in terms of where I am if I'm up or down in the day, because I think that's really important. I think you can learn a lot and still be down to the day, and the P&L doesn't always reflect that. I do want to shout out Neil's awesome lesson of the day where he said the P&L should not matter as much as the progress and the learning. It shouldn't matter as much as if you stuck to your plan. If you stuck to your plan, if you committed, that is what should matter. Today was a huge day for that. I still took some trades that had me go, a little bit. Like I said, there were a couple trades that I'm not as proud of the planning of, but generally proud of how I stuck with the strategy and proud that I stuck to scalping. And Tesla's like, yeah, Derek, while you're yapping about that, I'm going to push above. That's cool. Ooh. I'm out, Tesla. Please just punch with that as well. And then as quickly as I get out, Tesla comes back to my area. Oh. So a little bit sad, but you know what? Not too sad for long. Ready for those new opportunities. I'm so happy to be here, learning, pushing, working every single day. Let's keep going.
Yes, I'm long C-poop. Over here again to play a range trade. This is not a breakout trade, guys. You know, my rules say do not take breakout trades on small cap gappers south of VWAP. But here's what I see, an area play. I see it to the high side and I see it to the low side. And if I'm wrong, I'll find out pretty quickly because my break by out is going to be the break of 165. So we're long 173s here and we're going to go 164 and then we're going to give it a little bit of room there, and then our beak wetter, well, we're going to put it up. We're going to put it in, we'll put it in the high 80s. What's life without whimsy? We'll see if we can get there just south of VWAP. VWAP, by the way, 191. So we'll try to play the range on C-pop. And guys, I got to let you know, if you vote for C-poop in the chat, you've got 4 more minutes to vote, by the way. C-poop will not be showing up on the rundown list. You'll have to vote for C-pop because it shows up a little bit different and Brendo's not going to get the joke. So make sure that you're voting for the right thing there. All right, Daniel 82 saying Donald John Trump on the way back, and more in agreement I could not be with you, my friend. In fact, here's what I was looking at. I was looking at whether or not it did the dance with no pants with 36, and it did. Look at all these candles over here that closed right below that $36 level, opened, excuse me, above or below $36. And here it is now closing at that 36.25. And this candle here moving up into 36.5. If I had to take my guess, this is buy the dips off the 10 exponential. Not a financial advice, not trading advice either, but if I was to trade this right now, I would be setting up buy orders like this. See how that blue line, I can drag and drop it, right? So these are dynamic orders that you can drag and drop based on where the moving average or whatever thing you want to use. So I'd be looking for a dip trade off the 10 exponential here on DJT for a trade. Keeping my eye on CPOP here, long 73s is printing 73s, a break of that level, this support level here, and I'm Gonzino. Still 1-1 France and Poland in the 88th minute. We're almost in extra time. They will not play added time today. That is not till the group stages. Oh no, Austria ahead of Netherlands again with 2 minutes left. Who scored? Sabitzer. Oh, Sabitzer scored for Austria, and now they were winning 3-2. Netherlands about to get eliminated. Oh no. Hollanda, as we say in Arabic. So 91st minute right now in that game, Adara, and it's not looking good for the Netherlands.
So it's going to make me want to watch like Ted Lasso again or something. This sounds very exciting. But yeah, no, all jokes aside, shout out to all the soccer fans there in the chat, and shout out to Sharif and everyone. Also, Jason Murphy wanted to ask me about Apple, so let's take a look at Apple. I'm unfortunately having some very frustrating little wicks here on the chart, but Apple looks like it's bouncing off the 90 MA and VWAP right now. I will echo what Sharif had to say about Apple today. It's back to being the dead one. It is flatlining. Unfortunately, there's not a lot for me to kind of say on the dead one. We had this. We did have a range. We had a nice double bottom here, 209.30. I would say that 209.30, if that holds a support, that's a nice look. But and highs of like 210.40. So you've got about $1 and a bit range, but man, will it take you a while to get there. I think we might be back to the days, at least for now, of Napple.
She pushed back her chair.
Well, I called it Napple. That's why I pushed back.
I like to announce when you push back your chair. Everyone's they know.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
You're serious about
yeah,
it.
Yeah, because the share. I mean, this was just a pun chair pushback. But usually the chair pushbacks are like the chart. But yeah, we're back to Apple being Napple, back to it being a little bit more of the dead one, having that flat line chart pattern to reflect its depth.
Dara, I have news.
Oh.
Reddit guys breaking out here. Thank you very much, Scott H, for pointing this out. Reddit 5.5 in the clear, and there is a headline for this one. Reddit. This one came in at 136, okay? So Reddit says, good faith actors, including researchers and organizers like Internet Archive, will continue to have access to normal Reddit content for non-commercial use. Okay, I mean, not the biggest headline for me, but it came in with a flame. So the flame usually means hot news for whatever reason. And here we go, breaking through 60. Guys, this one opened up at 56.50. And it's on its way to $60. Decent amount of volume as well, about 1.5 million shares on the day. A large portion of those shares, though, came in right at 12 o'clock, and now the volume picking up again over here, right at that 135, right when I got that headline. So it had been with a bit of a top there at $59, really couldn't break and stay above there. And this little, this latest headline, I should say, giving it the necessary boost it needs to break that 59.25. Good look for Reddit here as it trends up on news. Again, coming in right at 135. Good faith actors like researchers, organizations such as Internet Archive to continue to have access to Reddit content for non-commercial use. In case you're wondering what the hell this headline is talking about, we know that Reddit now wants to actually commercialize and monetize their data for the training of a lot of these large language models. That was one of the deals they made. I forget who it was with. Was it Nvidia? Who was it with? They made a deal with somebody.
Was it OpenAI? I don't know. It was with someone big.
Somebody, yeah. Anyway, so that's the point there. And so looks as if, non-commercial users still going to have access to that. I guess the market likes it. To the high side it goes, Adair.
Yeah, to the high side it goes indeed. Reddit, set it, go. I don't know. Shout out there to R, to the D, to the D, to the T over here. Also, oh my gosh, Fabian just sent this really funny meme about the U.S. economy. That's gonna trigger you, Adara. Big things being held up by Nvidia and Taylor Swift. Never mind, so my dad's in town. We were in Indigo yesterday, and we were looking at, there was this Taylor Swift book, and I kept being like, oh, as a Taylor Swift, and he's like, Adara, stop. He's like, shh, he's like, you're embarrassing me.
You kept outing him?
Yeah, I was like, oh, well, you're a Taylor Swift fan. He's like, Adara, you're being so loud. I was like, no, I'm joking. He doesn't have the most recent album, but I was like, you do have enough of her albums that I can legally say this. But no, it was all fun. But yeah, Taylor Swift and Nvidia, we should give Jensen some respect there. Should be Taylor Swift and Jensen holding up that economy there. But the real question is, Taylor Swift cannot rock a leather jacket the way Jensen can.
No.
That's all I'm going to say on
Nobody can.
that.
And by the way, ever since Jensen started increasing in popularity, his notoriety is growing, a lot of these older videos of the 2000s are coming out with Jensen. And let me tell you, the dude is still wearing the leather jacket in those videos. When he chooses something, he knows what he likes and he sticks with it. Shout out to Jensen Huang, obviously a very capable individual, and we're only having a couple of chuckles at his expense because we admire the guy, not because
we love him.
Yeah, he's obviously a heavyweight. So right now, Ram, I'm long CPOP at this level. I'm looking for a break of that 185 level before I wet my beak, but we're not breaking down below 170. We're holding this general area over here of support. So I'll see if I can get a little bit more out of this trade. We're only like 3 pennies in the money. It's a joke. We need a little bit more. Yeah, I've got my beak wetter over here at 88s. Now we're printing 78s. Decent look here for CPOP. Let's see if it can get back into that volume weighted average price, Katina, man, because it broke below it. 192 is where I'm looking for, 192 is where VWAP is on my chart, Adara. But yeah, what are you looking at over there?
Yeah, I took a Tesla short here at VWAP, and I waited. I was very patient, the type of patience that you have more of, because I said, if we break below that 185.50, if we cannot hold it, I'll take the short. Got involved 46, already took out half of 38s. I initially wanted 26, realized that might be a bit ambitious. I arguably should have taken everything out there, but we can't get above 50s. So I really have no reason to leave. My technical area here, if we get above 60s, that's gonna be the real no-go, but I really don't want us to get above 50s either, because that would be a change in the tides, as Sharif says. So I do not want to see the tides change at all. I would like to see the tides stay the same, and I would like to see us break below that 9 EMA. I don't want to see us just knock on the door. I want to see us push that door open, and then I want to see Jerome Powell close the door. So I'm going to stop talking about doors now. I don't think Tesla really yet. Tesla looks like this is a bit dicey here. If we can get 41s, if I can take 5 pennies, I'll be pleased as punch. It's not even going to be a dime. It's going to be a nickel, and I'm okay with that. I should have just taken everything out there. It's all good. When I see stuff on the book like that, we get to 34s, we come right back up to mid-40s. That's dicey. That is something that says, Adara, take that as a sign. So I took it as a sign, and hopefully we're gonna use our 610s. Shout out, I guess, to accidentally referencing 2 M. Night Shyamalan movies. We're gonna get out of here. I should have gotten out sooner. It's all good there. Tesla getting kind of spready, which always to me is a sign as well that things could get dicey in the book. There we go. Out of that trade, all good there. Novo dropped below the 9 EMA or the VWAP area, which I was watching. We're below 60s. That could get interesting here as well. 5 minutes left here for the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And Reddit is on a tear, guys. About to go 6% in the clear right now, 59.84. Here comes that $60 area. Shout out to Scott H. I didn't have eyes on this, but you brought it to my attention. Look, here comes 60, 59.88 now, HOD on RDDT. It's above 6%. The volume is still not overwhelming on it, guys. It's still about 1.5 million shares. It did decent volume at the initial open. We got a print there for whatever reason, midday at 12. That was about 150,000 shares. But as you can see here, we're starting to increase the volume from that midday lull that we had. 10 cents away now from that $60 print, 59.90 HOD on Reddit. It's a cool 6% in the clear. I've got a couple of minutes before I migrate on over to the green screen, but I'll definitely be keeping an eye on this one into the afternoon, because this one, a decent mover here. Now, the trade that I've got on at the minute that I have to make a decision about what I'm going to do with is this one. I don't want to leave it and then not manage it while I'm at the green screen, but I also really do like this level that I'm in at the moment. So we're going to decisions to be made here on CPOOP as it comes into that 50 exponential and seems to have trouble retaking the 50 exponential on the 5 on this last move up. Now we've got 2 rejections off that 180 level. Not a level really, well. Okay, now that I look at this range over here, so it did range and it did have trouble breaking through it, and then we saw what happened. So I will exercise patience. I will leave my stop. I will change my stop though to give it a bit of a wider look so that, if it does break below 164, what I do is I use limit stops, right? So I say get out 164, but if it really goes crazy, end it at 153. So I'll give myself 11 pennies worth of space. That's called your stop spread, right? So I'll increase that a little bit here in case the bottom really drops off and my stop doesn't get triggered, because that's what happens if the price blows through all the levels that you had your order in. So I'll keep my eye on this one. CPOP. Decent winner on the day, 51.3% in the clear. We have shorts on this one. We took it short successfully, but now I'm looking to go long. We'll see what this one does. Keep your eye, guys, on Donald John Trump into the afternoon. $36 got taken. I would submit to you $36 was a bit of a level there. It's still acting as a bit of support. Look at the wicks through 36 into that 2/3 of a dollar area. The same thing we did in the earlier time slot, 10:20. We were getting wicks into that 36.5, 36 1/3. But this time, most crucially this time, we are putting in higher lows and higher highs, while last time we were putting in lower lows and lower highs. I think that may give this particular ascent a bit of an advantage over the last. We'll have to wait and see. Time will tell, Adara.
It will. We have a super chat. Thank you so much to Victor Mendoza, $10 super chat. New investor, motivated. If I'm used to losing my soul from hard things, might as well make some money. Great channel. Glad I found it. Glad you found it, Victor. Shout out to Sharif. Thank you so much for putting together the lessons. You're going to see him on that green screen moving around and orating and being right there. And just, I cannot believe. It's been like 2 minutes, guys. This is such a fun day. We had Kevin O'Leary. Shout out. You can go back to 11 a.m. to see that. That was an awesome interview there. Mr. Wonderful himself having some wonderful day. Today, I think, has been a wonderful day for learning for myself anyway. I feel like I've come out of this pretty motivated, pretty refreshed, and ready to keep going. I want to shout out Bears versus Bulls as well. Thank you so much for always being here, for everything that you do. Right now, Nvidia is actually interesting here. We're rejecting that 125 area again, a little bit of a slow decline. I want to see what we do with the 9 EMA, but also the level I've been talking about in Nvidia, 124.80s. Actually, Nvidia, oddly enough, every 80-cent level has been interesting, at least for my purposes, for book scalping today. So 124.80s, that could certainly be an interesting look here. I want to take a look at Meta as well as we head into the end of the day, because a couple people mentioning this Meta. Meta, right now, got above VWAP nicely. Right now, though, I really want to see what we do here at 507.50. We already rejected it in a wick basis. Let's see what we can do. But you know what we're not going to reject is seeing the big screen of the big kahunas. We're going to have to see you guys tomorrow. Same bat time and same bat channel. Right now, though, we have Sharif at the big old green screen. Guys, have a great night.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you choose what we talk about every day. We got the big kahunas. They're locked, they're loaded, they're ready to take the tickers that you voted for on the Midday show. Make sure to catch that with Adair and I every day. As you can see here, the Q's stuck in a bit of a lull. I mean, during the midday, we had a big difference today between how the ES performed and how the NQ performed. The ES was flat while the NQ was up about 3/4 of a point. We'll have the big kahunas look at that in a second. But the number one stock selected by you guys, the one I so eloquently called C-Poop,